This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, Gerald Morris, host of Two Peas on a Podcast, returns to give us his 2021 Oscars predictions.
Geek Boner.
Plus, we review episode 5 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, react to new trailers for Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead on Netflix, and the 9th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise.
What?
And a whole bunch more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, April 19th, 2021.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom, the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Play it.
Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
What's up, listener? How's it going? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we've been giving you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose since 2015.
Jock and Nerd.
My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us, one-time Oscar-nominated gaffer. Great gaff work from this guy. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
I was also told I was the best boy.
You were the best boy, the best grip.
Yeah. Yes.
The worst.
I was the key grip.
You were key. You were best. Some amazing.
I was really good at gripping and then
gaffing it when you gripped it after you gripped it.
Yeah. If I gripped it too hard, I would gaff it.
Yes.
And then I would be told I was the best boy.
Also joining us is a dude returning to the show who I know pays attention to gaff and grip work in movies. It's Gerald Morris, host of Two Peas on a Podcast. What's up, Gerald?
Oh, shit. What's up, guys? How you doing? How we doing?
How's it going?
Imran, Anthony, Ruggs, love you dudes, love the show. So glad you invited me back.
I'm glad you're back, too. Glad you're healthy. Apparently, Gerald, you're back with us this time with less parts. Is that right?
Yeah, you could say that. I had a unmeaningful part removed from my body in an operation a few days ago, but it went well, and I'm in recovery, and this is my first recording in over a week because I've been kind of bedridden.
Yeah.
So where else would I want to be, man? Jock and nerd, for sure.
Did you find yourself waking up in a bathtub covered in ice cubes, and you're like, hold on, what happened?
No, I did not. But it did feel that way, and I had to. It's a whole thing, man. My wife had to take me to the ER last weekend, and that was when they diagnosed what was going on, and they scheduled me for a surgery a few days later. So
very quickly. Oh, man, that is scary. But I'm glad everything went well, and sometimes we need less things in us to feel lighter and feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I lost a few pounds.
That's awesome. So. See? Unintended benefit. All right, we got a lot of fun things to talk about. Let's just start right now.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Before we get into this week's Falcon and Winter Soldier episode, we got a bunch of fun trailers I wanted to get your guys' reaction to. The big one dropped just today.
Unexpectedly.
Marvel's first Asian superhero has a first trailer, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, starring Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. Nice big 2-minute trailer. Anthony, this is
the fucking Asian.
Yeah. Listen, technically we're both Asian. I'm 100%. You're half Asian, so fuck you.
Yeah, but you already had your day.
I did.
But you also turned white.
Listen, my day is coming with Miss Marvel and Kumail Nanjiani. Jacked
you're already you've already ejaculated so many times about Kumail.
But this is
and how jacked he looks right now.
This is a 98% Asian cast in a Marvel superhero movie. Phenomenal representation. What do you think of this trailer? What did we see?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was pretty hyped. Shang-Chi obviously isn't a character most people know about all that well, so they can do whatever they want. It looks like they've removed Fu Manchu and basically replaced him with the Mandarin, which is fine.
A little racist
Fu Manchu,
there.
They don't really actually. That's not even an original character for Marvel, so whatever.
Right.
But overall, I think it looked pretty fun. It looked. One of my friends says like Crazy Rich Asians meets just like high-level martial arts,
Yes, it's
tech wizardry type stuff.
It's crazy superpowered Asians. That's what this is.
Yeah, I think it. I think it looks good. I think it looks fun. I think we haven't really seen. We've seen a little bit with Captain America and the Winter Soldier and some like martial arts stuff in Black Panther, but we haven't really seen it focused on in this universe yet. And from what it looks like they have some. This is the best clips in a trailer, but it looks like they have some decent, pretty good fight choreography going on. And then I think that's a new aspect along with just the Asian character. And I even liked the little line with Awkwafina at the end. So
you did like that line? Okay.
I did.
Well, I'll get to the Awkwafina. Simu Liu.
I like Awkwafina. For what it's worth.
She's funny. No, she's funny.
I think she's funny.
She's great. Simu Liu does look like dude can fight. That's for sure in this trailer. Gerald, this is a new side of the MCU we're getting a peek into. What did you make of this?
Well, first, let me ask you. This is a movie, right? It's not going to be a series.
This is a movie.
Okay.
This is a mainstream movie.
That's what I thought. And Anthony, I feel like you mentioned this when we talked about our upcoming Marvel things.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember where I had it, but yep, I was excited in top 5.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I mean, I don't know anything about it, which I think maybe helps me because I talked about it last time I came on your show that the MCU fatigue had kind of set in for me a couple years ago. So I like these fresh kind of takes that are in the MCU, but they don't feel like they are. They feel like something completely different that we haven't seen because obviously they haven't touched on this character before. I think it's great. The representation that you guys mentioned is a huge piece. And Anthony also touched on it, but I love Awkwafina. She was in this movie called The Farewell a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we're going to be talking Oscars later. That movie should have gotten a lot more love in Oscar season a couple of years ago. For her particularly. But yeah, I love her. I love what I saw in the trailer. I think it looks like a lot of fun.
Hey, Gerald, I got one quick thing, too. The director of this movie is the guy, have you seen Just Mercy?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Same director.
Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And guy writing, Dave Callahan writing on this, who wrote a bunch of things, Wonder Woman 1984, but also he wrote on Godzilla. He wrote on Zombieland.
Oh, wow. This is going downhill quick.
He wrote on the screenplay for Mortal Kombat that's coming out next week.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay.
He is writing the Into the Spider-Verse sequel, The Expendables 4. So,
oh my God,
whatever that is.
Well, he's writing with other people. I think there's 3 writers on here, so
he's with other people. So he's one of them.
Yeah.
Russ, you are a fan of Hong Kong kung fu action movies, like it kind of pulling some of the elements of that. What did you take of the Marvel universe?
I'm like, hey, this looks a little different. Yeah. This looks a little bit like fun. This one, when we watched Iron Fist, it was so watered down and so like not cool.
Lame.
And then in just like 1 minute of this trailer, it's just like 10 times cooler than anything we saw in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see that. And also I'm interested to see what they do with the character because I have no idea where it's going to be because this character has always been associated with like Iron Fist and Luke Cage and all that other stuff. But I think that they're just they went at this and like tabla rasa. They're just like, we're just going to fucking make this whole new story. And because in some versions he has powers, some versions he doesn't have powers.
Bring that up.
And that's not really nailed down. So like I am interested to see what they actually do with this character.
Also, where's this dude been this whole time? That would be my first question. Where have you been, buddy?
Well, for the past 10 years, he's been chilling.
Hiding, yes.
So I've done a little bit of research. I don't know if it's like fully true. So basically he was in China or whatever with his dad, his mentor, the Mandarin.
The Mandarin is his father in this version, in this.
I think it might be his father. And he gets like trained throughout his life. And apparently this movie, I'm not 100% sure, but this movie's occurring during the blip.
Oh,
shit.
Oh, interesting. Like during the 5 years.
During the 5 years.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I like that they're giving the fans a second shot of Mandarin. It's not Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley that they played us. It's the real Mandarin. I like that it's his dad, and you kind of get the setup of the story. He's training Shang-Chi to take over his criminal empire, but he's been hanging out 10 years as a valet and going to clubs and getting drunk and doesn't want to do it, obviously.
He basically has pulled a Coming to America.
Yes. And now the dad has to
disavowed
come
his
get him.
father to
Yes.
hang out in America and sow his royal loins.
What does
for a little
dumb
bit.
fuck mean? So then the Mandarin shows up in New York to find his son. But the rings
No,
apparently...
it's in San Francisco.
Oh, it's San Francisco. That's right.
Yeah.
It's San Francisco. The rings apparently give you powers in this, it looks like. And then you have a couple of characters. That masked figure who looks sick in that fucking outfit. That dude's name is Death Dealer. And then that dude with a blade for a fist, his name is Razor Fist. Aptly named.
Taserface?
Not Taserface. Razor
Razor
Fist.
Fist?
But this is the dude who played Victor Drago in Creed 2.
Oh.
He's
All right,
playing
okay.
Razor
He's a huge
Fist.
dude.
Yeah, very big
Fisto?
too. Yeah.
I like the name Death Dealer. That's
Death
cool. I
Dealer.
never heard that.
Yes.
Okay.
You good.
The Frazetta callback.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah. The dude with the skull on the horse painting.
Yeah.
But okay, so it didn't blow me away, but I'm excited, and it is the case with origin movies. They got to set all this shit up, so you kind of like get a feeling of the formula. And Aquafina is funny, but that line at the end where she's like, "We make a good team," like I don't know, didn't really do much.
Yeah, those
for me.
lines at the end of the trailers where it's like the whole trailer's fucking awesome,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they try to do this like slapstick. I mean, it's like, why did you do that? You had a good trailer, yeah. They did it in the Fast and the Furious one too, which I know we'll talk about. But,
But it other than that, it looks sick, and I'm excited to see Shang-Chi mix it up with everyone. And then they put out a poster. You get to see his costume a little bit better. Looks dope.
Yeah, it just looks a little different, than what we've seen so far. Obviously, with casting and just the tone of there being a martial arts type flick with some mystical elements.
Yes, magic.
Now, is he going to wear ballet slippers or what?
Oh yeah, he has to wear the Shang-Chi slippers and the pajama pants.
Yeah, like they have Iron Fist and him in like these little like Bruce Lee slippers.
Yeah.
And I just want to know if he's going to wear it.
Isn't that more efficient?
Lighter on your feet.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm sure that it's probably better to do martial arts in those little ballet slippers, because I feel like if it's better to do ballet in ballet slippers, but does it look as cool if you were in boots?
There's some Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon shit in this. A little bit of this trailer reminded me of, and then a little bit reminded me of like Mulan that we just watched. Those big
Well, there's
scenes in
going to be
ancient
Fing
China.
Fang Foom in this thing. You know that, right?
There's a dragon. That was my question.
Oh,
Will there be
Yeah.
a dragon?
I've read rumors that the rings that the Mandarin has can also are from Fing Fang, or like can control the dragon or something. Like the rings are alien in nature in Fing Fang.
I don't think
Foom.
it's going to be green though.
Fing Fang Foom is like an alien creature. So
Ooh, like
maybe.
Ghidorah.
We get some kaiju shit in there. September 3rd of this year, coming out in the movie theaters only so far first. We'll see what happens. But September 3rd, we'll see. The next trailer came out last week for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead on Netflix. Gerald, you're a fan of zombie things, right?
Yeah, I'm a big horror fan. Yeah, it's kind of weird though because I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan. Although I really like what he did with his Dawn of the Dead remake, which was obviously a zombie film.
Very good movie, and they kind of been played out. The genre a little bit is tired, but I kind of dug this. I think they're bringing something exciting to the zombie genre. What did you think of this trailer, Army of the Dead, and these zombies? There's some interesting zombies in here.
I agree. I mean, I think this genre has been around for more than 50 years, and it's so hard to change it because everybody has this kind of like they just have in their mind and their psyche what zombies are and what they're just kind of roaming around and brainless and mindless. And you have to try to find new ways to invent it. There was a movie a few years ago called Train to Busan that was really good.
Oh my God, it's so good.
That's a great movie. Something similar where they were like smart, they were quick, and World War Z, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but they also did something like that as well.
Land of the Dead did the same thing too.
That's right. Yep. So we've seen this before, but Zack Snyder is on a high right now. Like he is like on a cloud floating above Hollywood. You know what I mean? So he's the right guy for the job. I love that it's going to be available on Netflix and in theaters.
Nice.
We talked about that a little bit too. I love having the kind of like get it out there to everybody that can see it. But yeah, I think it's going to be good. I'm going to definitely give it a shot, and I have high hopes for it.
The Netflix is all in on this in the Zack Snyder business because not only is this coming out, they've also greenlit a prequel live action series and a prequel like anime series for Army of the Dead for this whole franchise. So,
okay.
So Gerald
said something interesting. So they're doing theater as well.
I think so, yeah. Right?
Yeah, I believe. I
thought it was a simultaneous release.
Theaters and on Netflix, May 21st. So this is like they did it with Roma, also Netflix occasionally.
Oh, select theaters.
Select theaters. It's not going to be a wide release. But in this trailer, look, the trailer looks fucking sick. The zombies seem to be even smarter than what was that other movie you mentioned in
Train to Busan?
Train to Busan, where those zombies were smart. These are smarter, faster, and organized zombies that can like communicate. So
yeah, they look like they're having relationships even.
Oh, like they're coupling
One
up.
of the dudes and one of the girls are like making out and like, you know.
In Las Vegas. Ruggs, what'd you think about this zombie mess here?
I mean, I'm over zombies pretty much. Like, I'm totally over zombies, but this looks batshit crazy. So I'm like, how the fuck are like 10 guys going to take on like these 10 million zombies? Like, I got to see this.
And a zombie tiger. There's a fucking zombie tiger, which I thought that was great. Now, my question is, can Dave Bautista carry a movie? There's a lot of people in here, so maybe he's not doing all the heavy lifting.
Maybe if he moves really slow and no one can see
maybe
him.
He'll be invisible. there's the sick shot of him running over the slot machines, firing the gun at these zombies. It looks amazing.
I don't think he's going to need to have to do much.
I think you're right. I agree.
In a Zack Snyder film about zombies.
Yes.
I think he's just got to look good and shoot things and say one-liners.
And also, it kind of seems like the zombie thing happens coincidentally the same day they're pulling off this heist. Like, it seems like it just happened while they're trying to.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too, as far as the timeline goes, because they do have that shot of the casino, and you can see like the bodies on the ground with like the body bags over them or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know if those bodies eventually become zombies, or I'm not sure how that's going to play out either. I was curious about that too.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they.
By the way, I have an observation I just thought of right now because we're going to talk about another trailer.
Yeah.
I feel like these pro wrestlers coming over and acting and like doing well.
Yes,
it's like a resurgence of the 80s.
A little bit. Yeah,
with like big muscular guys with like some charisma just coming over and shooting up shit. You got Batista. You had The Rock's been around for a while. John Cena's doing really well for himself.
It's like this generation's like Dolph Lundgren and those guys, you know, kind of thing.
All these guys are coming over and like they've had years of fake wrestling and so it's training and John
training
in front of a crowd.
Very good.
So like now they're just coming over and doing this.
The Rock is not bad. John Cena, I've been impressed with. Batista may impress me in this. I don't know.
Do they have franchises though on their own?
Yeah.
Is that the thing though?
I mean, The Rock is arguably
just
the biggest action star.
What's his franchise that he goes back?
I don't know.
Where he's the lone star.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't mean necessarily
the whole movie.
I don't mean necessarily a sole franchise, but I mean just like action blockbusters. I mean, you think back to like Arnold and Sly and those guys. I mean, The Rock is doing it on that level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, every movie's like, I mean, billions of dollars, and he's living the life. You know, even like family movies, like he voiced in Moana. Even, you know, I feel like he's made a name for himself as like the big action star.
I think that's the one. I feel like that's the one thing he's missing though. Is his like go to all by himself, holds up the whole thing franchise. Like, I think that he's got like Jumanji, which is an ensemble cast.
Could Hobbs and Shaw be a thing for him?
Maybe. I don't know that, you know.
Well,
I think he really, him getting involved in Fast and Furious, like he was for a while was doing okay, but him getting involved in Fast and Furious, he got, as the wrestling fan, so he got the rub on the Fast and Furious franchise. Oh. And now it's like, pushed him to another level.
Well, speaking of that, here's a movie of a trailer that he's not in, and it's F9. Official trailer, long ass trailer, 3.5 minutes.
So long.
Anthony, this is all you. That's fucking insane. I thought this shit was about racing cars. Apparently not anymore.
You gotta get with the program. It hasn't been about racing cars for 5 or 6 movies
since The Rock showed up. It hasn't been about racing cars. I thought this shit was
about drifting and shit. What happened?
I mean, it's.
Listen, you did 3 movies of that. That's all you need.
We're done.
You need more than that.
Let's go into space now. Fuck it.
If it goes to space, I mean, then it's really jumping the shark. But I mean, this is the modern day. Like, this is what Expendables wanted to be. It's with just modern day characters.
Yeah.
You know, now you have John Cena as Vin Diesel's long lost brother. It's like, oh, what? Okay, whatever.
Hilarious and perfect.
Sang Kang, I forget what his name is back. Yeah. I mean, he died in the third one.
Sun Kang is Han, right?
Yeah. So like,
you got fucking Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron in this movie too, which is weird.
Yeah. I mean, and you get like real actors that decide that they want. I mean, this franchise is just bonkers.
But why do you think that everyone just flat out accepts this like crazy shit?
Yeah.
like and like doesn't criticize it when
They get away with it. They get away with it.
yeah they get away with it with everything.
Go,
I think it's just pure. I think it's just pure popcorn entertainment. I mean, that's what they're. I mean, Fast Five was one of the best action movies I saw in the theater probably ever. I mean, that was a really entertaining film as a standalone. Now, the franchise as a whole is kind of laughable. I mean, right? It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, it's fun. That's the point of it.
But I mean, you can't help but just to sit there and just like enjoy it. You know, if you're into action movies, at least.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
I think
crazy. I mean,
I think
you
it just appeals to that like reptile brain where it's just like, I want to see more Smash. Yes, with cars. Wow, what are they going to do with cars?
Like when I watched this trailer, I was like doubled over it laughing.
I know,
I was just like, oh my fucking God, I have to see this.
Is this how magnets work also? I don't know.
Well, what they've done too is like they just cast like very charismatic people.
Yeah.
In fact, like the least charismatic person, in my opinion, is like Vin
Yes,
Diesel amongst all
I'll
these guys
agree.
for years.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But,
I agree with that.
He just has been living off the fact that his name is Vin Diesel and he looks like that, and he has a voice. But everyone's like, it's just they have like, it's the formula: one-liners, cars, insane action stunts that are like mind-boggling, and some of them are actually not even happening on screen.
They look, and also these trailers kind of just show you the whole movie. It's like you don't even need to see the fucking movie. I feel like they show,
that's
they
what
showed
I
you
was
the
going
whole
to say
thing.
about the trailers.
Yeah.
It's too damn long, man. Like
Too long.
2 minutes, get in and out. You know,
I saw the whole movie.
Yeah, this is the whole movie
Yeah.
right here. Poor
Crazy.
Vin Diesel, he couldn't get Bloodshot off the ground, and that was partly bad timing. It came out right when the pandemic, and partly nobody gives a shit about Bloodshot, and the movie wasn't that great. But he's trying.
I mean, he can't really, outside of the Fast and Furious, he can't really do much other than like be Groot, and
Riddick.
maybe make a Triple X movie.
Listen, this is what happens. You get rid of Vin Diesel, you put Frank Grillo in.
Yes,
there you
Frank
go.
Grillo, replace him. Replace
I would
Frank
love to-
Frank
Grillo.
and the Furious.
Yes.
I would love to see if Frank Grillo would belong in this franchise yesterday.
Like, he's like Dominic Toretto's dad.
Yes, or his cousin.
Well, it's like they're the same age, I think.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel and
They could be cousins. Every movie.
they're both in their 50s.
I read somewhere, I don't even know if I'm just speculating or just saying things off the cuff, but I read somewhere that The Rock and Vin Diesel don't get along anymore.
Yeah.
No, they hate each other.
Yeah,
I
so
read
that's
that
why
as
they've
well.
separated the guys within the same franchise.
Because The Rock's like, Vin, back up off my coattails, motherfucker. Come on. Just do your thing. Do your own fucking thing. I know you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's The Rock's. He might be more popular. I mean, I think he's definitely more popular.
Oh,
I
Vin
agree.
Diesel's done.
He's
Yeah.
done.
I mean, if it weren't for the Fast and Furious, I mean, Vin Diesel, I mean, he's got nothing as far as like to continue his legacy on. Like
The Chronicles of Riddick 4.
Yeah, just keep doing Riddick. That's all anybody
Riddick,
wants
yeah.
to
Just
see.
keep
dude.
voicing Groot.
Yeah, or and Groot is
Yeah.
it's one
Groot, yeah.
word. It's a couple of words. You nailed it. Anthony, have you watched the Young Rock show? I heard it's pretty good. They got like young Andre the Giant and wrestlers. His characters in the show.
I have not. Is it on the cock?
I probably it's on NBC. Yeah, so it's probably on the
Yeah.
doc.
I haven't watched.
I
it,
heard it's
no.
good.
But I did when I did watch the trailer. I was amused by it. I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
I heard it's good. All right, listener, let us know what you thought of these trailers. Join the conversation. We have a Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. It's exclusive and closed just for you. We're all in there. It's a lot of fun.
Jock and Nerd.
Shout out, happy birthday to listener and group member and Patreon. Pat Downey turned the big 3-0
That's
Happy
my
birthday,
dude right
Pat.
there.
this weekend.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday. Okay, let's get to Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 5. We're going to review it with spoilers. Here's your spoiler alert.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Before we get started,
Yes.
does anyone want to get out?
That's the other one. Anyone want to let me out? I have to pee. No? Okay. This episode titled simply Truth, the longest episode yet. And Gerald, let's just put it out there for the listener. I love when I do this. This has happened a few times. We've had people.
I love when I do this.
Yes, I have guests come
It
on.
was all Imran really
no.
orchestrated this whole
I
thing.
love getting people to binge like 10 episodes of a show before coming on.
Oh, shit.
And helping us review stuff, which like Peter Kendall did that and other people did that. And now, Gerald, your experience with this show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm digging it. You know, Friday that we're recording on Monday, this past Friday, I was in bed recovering from my surgery that I mentioned. And I had watched the first episode with my son when it came out initially.
Okay.
But it was like during dinner and like, you know, he's 7-year-old, so he's bouncing off the walls. It didn't really hold his interest. I couldn't hear half of the dialogue. So it was just a nightmare. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to come back to it later. I can't really do this. So that was this past Friday, and I decided to rewatch that first one. And then I'm like, fuck it. And I just watched all of them. So I got caught up in, less than 5 hours.
Wow.
But what I will say is that this particular episode, Truth, was probably my least favorite of the 5 that I watched. Okay. I'm not saying I didn't like it because I did like it, but it was just a lot of kind of fluff and like relationship building. And, we had the one scene in the opening, which I know we're going to talk about. But after that, we got no action, right? I mean, unless I'm forgetting something. I mean, it was all dialogue and kind of development.
This training sequence.
There was montages, but this was a stop and breathe and resolve some things, move pieces into things for the next thing kind of episode.
Yeah, but what I want to say about that is, can you really do that when you have 6 episodes?
That's a good point. You
got to go bam, 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 bam. You got to get that shit out there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm a little worried that they're going to tie this. Is it 1 hour, the last one? Do we know?
It's probably around the same. No, it's similar to WandaVision. They definitely are probably not going to be tying everything up. Anthony, what happens in this episode?
What happens? So after the last episode where John Walker went a little nuts, he runs away and he has to be confronted by Sam and Winter Soldier, and we just kind of get that out of the way.
Right away. Yes.
Right away.
Yes.
And it was a pretty brutal fight.
It was fucking excellent.
I yelled out loud when they broke his arm. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Shit.
Surprise again. Another thing on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, okay. And then after that, it's kind of like Gerald mentioned, a lot of like training, a lot of like character stuff. So Sam trying to figure out really what it means to be a black man and be Captain America, be a black Captain America, and what that shield really means. For Bucky, he's trying to kind of still find himself and figure out how to get over the Winter Soldier stuff. And in the background, Carly and the Flag Smashers are kind of went to the dark, took a step
more
back,
extreme.
and they're trying to basically make one last big hit on
their plan still is unclear what the fuck they want. I don't know, but
right. So, I mean that's the episode. So this series as a whole and this episode basically, I really enjoyed the character moments.
I did too.
I think the character moments are some of the best stuff that they have going on. The conversation between Sam and Isaiah Bradley was, I mean, it hits. It's very relevant. It's just, you could feel like what those characters are going through. And you're like, oh man, like I really understand Isaiah's point of view. I understand what Sam's grappling with. Like all the character stuff between him and Falcon and Winter Soldier was all great. I still do have issues with, I don't think it, like there's a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily on board with the fact that I don't think it's coalescing into an actual like forward moving story.
Yeah.
Like I still don't really understand the Flag Smashers and the GRC, and I don't really understand that conflict. So like I'm still like, what really happened with the GRC and the Flag Smashers? Like what is causing all this? Like that's like the forward driving thing. And all the other stuff with like John Walker and I mentioned some of the character stuff is great. But if that's the thing, I'm not as invested in that. So I don't know if I'm.
That thing is a little muddy.
I think, we were criticizing the Netflix stuff for being 13 episodes.
Yeah.
I think this show needs to be more than 6 episodes. I think it needs to be like 8 or 9.
I agree. I think you nailed it. I think this series that I've watched thus far is very strong, like top tier in like characters, right? It's a very character driven. You're invested in so many different characters for so many different reasons, but the story is just like sitting there. Like it's not really advancing and there's only an hour left. So if it was 8 or 9 or 10, then maybe we could get some answers to the questions that you were just posing, but I agree with you 100%.
I was talking to a buddy of mine and I was like, okay, we got to figure out what's the problem with this show. Like, why is it just falling short to me? And I think it's because it's an issue of it's very muddy, meaning that there's not enough contrast. And there's 2 things that you could have a problem with in contrast. Either you polarize everything to be black and white, and then you have this like, okay, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. But then when everybody's muddy, everybody's gray. Yeah. You have a tough time defining, okay, who's the bad guy? And
interesting.
Who am I supposed to like? And why do I like Baron Zemo? Like, he's a fucking terrible person. Why are they making him into Loki? Why is all of a sudden, am I supposed to feel sympathetic to John Walker? Am I supposed to not like him? Am I supposed to like him? So it's like, you're kind of like pulled in all these different directions, and it makes it kind of like not the best experience sometimes.
It's realistic, though. I don't know if they're like dealing with the gray areas. And then, they even mentioned the gray area of the law regarding the shield. But I did enjoy. This episode had 2 montages. And I was fucking enjoying both montages. Actually, the music was great.
I didn't mind the montages.
Seeing them throwing the shield around, playing catch off trees was fucking phenomenal. And yeah, they give you more of that the family stuff with Sam, very Sam centric that we got early on, and then they didn't come back to. So I did enjoy kind of like slow down and slow things down, take a breath, set up the pieces, but they're clearly not going to fucking resolve everything. That opening fight was fucking amazing because, like you mentioned, Bucky's arm gets fried. They break his arm. They break John Walker's arm. It's very much like the fight from Civil War, Captain America Civil War. John Walker rips fucking Sam's wings right the fuck off.
Oh shit.
I mean, it's very, that point is very, it's symbolic, right? Like you have the new Captain America basically ripping off Falcon's wings, being like, and it's almost like you're no longer done. The Falcon.
Yeah.
Like you need to be Captain America. Look who's doing this to you. It couldn't be more spelled out.
Okay, and
screen.
Walker's yelling, "Why are you making me do this?" And then he just goes, "I am Captain America." And he clearly, by my account, almost had them several times.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to happen, or I would have been shocked if it did. Let's just say, but I mean, he could have killed him
easily.
I mean, he had the upper hand big time there for a couple of hairy moments there.
And then that moment was amazing where the final blow knocks everybody down, and then Bucky just picks up the shield, drops it next to Sam, and doesn't even help him up. Just fucking walks away.
Well, yeah, it's like his fault, yes. And then Sam's like cleaning off the blood.
So can I ask you, dudes? So, and I know we'll get more in depth with the plot of the episode, but just generally speaking, so is there a villainous character that John Walker's portraying in the comics, or is this something brand new that we've never seen? Like, in other words,
I think that, yes, he is a kind of loose cannon, and he's not fit to be Cap, but he's not necessarily evil.
Okay.
Like, he's been bad in a few issues or been portrayed as, like, the bad guy in a few issues, but, like, overall, they keep bringing him back to being a hero and giving him his own book. So,
even though he approaches things just a little more aggressively, a different way, and he becomes U.S. agent in the comic books, which is, I think, what we're going to see.
Well, I only ask because, seeing these back to back to back like this, maybe it's more highlighted for me, but I do feel like John Walker's arc, and then maybe Sam too, because you have all the important stuff about race that Anthony mentioned, but John Walker's arc is like one of the most, like, it just shifts so much from episode 1 to episode 5, where he's like this wholesome, blonde, blue eyes, like patriot, basically. Just this goody two shoes kind of dude, and then by episode 5, he's almost killing the heroes.
It moves pretty quickly, I guess, if you watch it all at once. Yeah,
I mean, I like what they did. I like what they've been doing with his character, and I kind of saw it coming. I'm like, this guy's not going to be, because you see him when he first makes. Was it episode 1 that they first showed him at the very end, right?
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah, and you see him, and you're like, dude, come on, this is not fucking Captain America. I mean, there's no fucking way. I'm not going to buy this.
That's what Rugg said after the first episode.
Squishy face Captain America.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, let's go.
I think he's doing a tremendous.
Somebody else there.
Wyatt Russell's doing a tremendous job in this role.
I think he's doing a good job. I think the real world allegories are really well done, where it's when he's in not the trial, but in front of the committee, and he's like,
court martial or whatever.
You built me.
Oh my God.
I only did what I'm supposed to do.
So good. He's like, don't you tell me about your mandates.
Right. And like, that's a lot of like soldiers that come back from the war, like experience that, where they're like, I was only doing what you told me to do. And then they get thrown on the street. Similar to this guy, you just get used and abused. So I really like that. I really like some of the real world when they touch upon like the real world allegories. I really enjoy that, and I really enjoy the character work. So overall, I do like the show. I just wish like the main conflict, which was the Flag Smashers. I feel like I think Ruggs mentioned it a couple episodes ago, but there was it seems like there was a disease or a
virus storyline,
and I think it's really missing that.
There's no sense of urgency in this, really. They're all it's just kind of like, see what happens.
And I got this from Sean Chandler, but I agree with it. Like, breaking Zemo out should have been a really big thing for them.
Yeah,
right. Because you're like, Zemo like broke apart the Avengers, and it was kind of just like, oh, we need Zemo, but it's like, but why do we need Zemo? We hadn't seen anything up to that point to be like, man, these Flag Smashers, they're awful. Like you're not even calling other heroes. You're calling Zemo.
Right to Zemo.
Like, how bad are
that's
they?
a good point.
Right?
That's one of the things.
That's
It's
a good
like
point.
when this is going on, we're all worried about super soldiers, but at the end of the day, we have gods.
Right.
We have fucking Thor. We have the Hulk. We have fucking crazy ass shit all over the place. So we should be able to take care of this pretty easily. You know?
Right.
Right.
We just
be able to hold her on.
We didn't have a very good sense of the threat, and even afterwards, I mean, yeah, they killed people, but it's like you really couldn't handle that on your own. I don't know. I feel like there's something missing, and it's clear at this point.
Yeah, it's especially when these same heroes have tangled with these gods.
Yeah.
And Thanos and shit, you know, like this should be a fucking walk in the park, you know, in a lot of ways for them as well.
But
so it's like,
on the other hand, Spider-Man was able to take care of both of them at once in that movie pretty easily. So he just caught his arm.
that's overpowered Spider-Man, and then he can't do anything in his own movie.
Overpowered. Okay, wait, let's go back to that moment in the courtroom. It's fantastic performance. They strip him. He avoids a court-martial, but he freaks out in court. He's not getting retirement, no benefits, sucks for his wife. And then we get the cameo we talked about last week, an existing Marvel Comics character, MCU debut, played by a well-known actor. It was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Elaine from Seinfeld, who just pops up out of nowhere as Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who has a rich history in the comic books. She's first appearance 1967, Nick Fury's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was Nick Fury's love interest for a while, and then she's one of the people who becomes Madam Hydra, and she works for Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D., and she's an assassin and a fucking...
I had no freaking clue who the hell she was when she said her name.
I had to look that up a little bit, too. I wasn't exactly
I
sure.
recognized as soon as that
Contessa.
she came on and she said her name, and I was like, that's the lady with the long-ass name but she should have a white stripe in her hair. But then I looked like, she has like a purple.
I didn't even notice the purple stripe. It was very subtle. And
so
she tells him, John Walker, the U.S. government may not want you, but there's people out there think you're pretty valuable. Pick up the phone when I call, and she gives him like a blank business card. I think what's confusing and then she leaves. And apparently there's a Variety article that came out that day. She was supposed to be introduced in Black Widow first, which was supposed to come out first, and then this show, and then WandaVision. But it's all backwards, so I don't know. She may be in Black Widow. We may get a little bit more, but she can set up a lot of things. Looks like she's setting up a team, right?
Potentially,
right?
yeah.
So she could set up a Dark Avengers team or the Thunderbolts team.
Well, on that Thunderbolts note, Zemo gets brought back to the Raft, and the Raft is run by Ross,
right?
Who is the Thunderbolt,
and it's reformed supervillain team. The Thunderbolt, so that could happen. But then she mentions Cap Shield. She goes, that the U.S. doesn't really own that. It's a legal gray area. Don't worry about it. I was like, what? Okay, the fuck? Does Wakanda? Is it it's Wakandan vibranium? Do they own it? I don't know.
That's true.
So maybe they hyped up that cameo a little bit, but I do think.
Did you like this casting?
I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, I love her too. I don't know, man. I mean, do you think Anthony, do you know Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
I know who she is, but I mean,
you're a young dude, right? I mean, you weren't probably blown away by it.
I wasn't a big Seinfeld guy, so I was just like, oh, okay, she's in a Marvel movie or Marvel thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't really feel anything either way. I was like, oh, all right.
I do love her, though, and I don't know anything about this character, so had it been an actress that I wasn't familiar with, I would have had no idea. Like, I wouldn't have cared at all. So the fact that it was her was pretty cool.
She played like the villainy kind of like with the humor really well, where she's like, call me Val, and don't call me Val.
I mean, she doesn't really have a real personality from the comics. Yeah. Like, she's kind of like around the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She hooked up with Nick Fury a few times, and then they tried to do a couple of things with her, made her Madam Hydra at one point. And, so she doesn't really have, I mean, the latest thing that they did with her in the past, 10, 15 years have been more than they've done in the past, however long she's existed. So I guess she's a blank slate too. They can make her whatever they want it to be. They can make her funny.
They picked a good person to, kind of, give the reins to this. I think she'll do a great job making her funny and kind of evil.
Yeah, she's a great actress. I mean,
Emmy winning, Emmy nominated, maybe winning.
So you think that she's forming a team Or do you think that she's reforming Hydra?
Who is she, that's also possible. Who is she working for? Who is she talking about?
Maybe she's the power broker.
Maybe that's also possible. She could be. Speaking of who else could be the power broker, really small bit with Sharon Carter. She calls Batroc the Leaper, and she's like, "I got a job for you." And then we see Batroc delivering weapons to the Flag Smashers, which all of this is confusing. So is she the power broker? The fuck's going on here?
Well, she also said too, "I'll double what you made last time." So she clearly paid
she
him.
sent him the first time too. Holy shit!
Oh shit!
What? So is that clear evidence that she's the power? I don't know. Like, what's going on here? Why is she working against them?
Well, again, why are we talking about this with an hour left in the series?
Right?
I feel like, it's just going to be a lot for them to like bring up and conclude in the same episode. I don't know. I mean, I was messaging Imran when I saw Sharon pop up, and I don't remember which episode she showed up initially, but I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC when it came out, but I knew of it. I'd seen promos and like whatever. And I asked Imran, I was like, is that the girl from the ABC TV show?
She did an appearance. It's not Haley Atwell. It's not, not one of the main.
It's a different Carter.
Yeah,
it's not Agent Carter.
It's not Agent. It's her. It's her niece.
It's her nephew. Sorry, nephew. Well, niece.
It is her niece.
It's her nephew. Wait, what?
But I believe Sharon Carter may have made an appearance on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't remember. But it is kind of like that kind of casting. Like, is this the person from the TV show?
For what it's worth, Gerald, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is basically doesn't
done.
exist.
Yeah, they don't.
So you don't need to have watched that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's another reason why I thought I had seen the actress playing Sharon Carter on that show, or she had.
Yeah, they had some like minute cameos on there, but it's all kind of somewhat
That
erased.
show also had kind of a Madame Hydra character with Ada in the framework, and she was like Viper, which is kind of like Madame Hydra.
Let's try it. Can we try to figure out this whole power broker thing right now?
Sure.
All right. So Sharon Carter, let's say she's the power broker. All right.
Okay.
The power broker is trying to develop the secret super soldier serum.
Yeah.
Right. And why would she want to do that? Because she got dicked over by America?
Possibly. She's still pissed because they didn't give her a pardoning.
Immunity.
Yeah, immunity.
And so she thinks that she could buy her way back into the country with having the super
But she also
serum.
brought them to the guy who was making the serum, but I don't think she thought that Zemo was going to shoot the dude.
I don't know. I don't know if she's going to be it or not.
She didn't go in, and I think that if she would have went in, she would have gotten recognized by the dude.
Oh, she didn't go inside. That's a good point.
Right.
She's just like, he's in there.
But she let Zemo go in, and Zemo
He's a wild card.
clearly hates super soldiers, and Zemo obviously killed them. So she let him kill the Golden Goose.
Unless she wanted that to happen.
I think at this point she thought she had another bunch of serum left, right? No.
Well, whoever the power broker is texting the Flag Smashers, being like, "You took my serum. I'm going to kill you."
So either there is not an actual person who's the power broker. She's like created this kind of myth, and she's controlling it, and like she is the power broker, but not really, kind of thing.
It's Zola with his floating
Well, that
hat.
was another. Who said that? Somebody said it could be Armin Zola in a big fucking robot body with a screen in his stomach. That's possible. That could happen.
I mean, it's very possible.
Why not? I was going to say, maybe it's somebody we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're doing all this as a ruse, and you have Julia Louis-Dreyfus and
there's
Sharon
a big
Carter,
reveal.
and then, maybe they're just pawns or whatever, and we haven't even actually seen the power broker yet.
Well, that's the thing with seeing the Marvel shows and how they do things. They don't really introduce people out of the blue
Until it's like a bomb drop, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that whole Contessa thing was like a red herring or something to make you make you think that she's the power broker. Oh, it's really Sharon Carter.
God, if it's that, if that's again, it's just kind of predictable. If that's what
I
it's
feel like
gonna
it's
be.
two at this point, two red herrings, because now it's like, well, it has to be Sharon.
Yeah, but they can't do that. That's too obvious. That's not too obvious.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking about. I mean, I don't know, man.
I honestly, this is another one I don't know.
Do you think we'll see Zemo again next episode? We saw him. I love seeing Bucky fuck with his head. That was great.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna.
I didn't like his exit. That was kind of lame.
They just took him.
It's like,
he handed him over to the Wakandans. He didn't run away very far. He went to Sokovia, and they found him.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope we see him again. I hope he does something very, very bad, which would be in character for him.
He's like, you ever been to that memorial?
Yeah. He talked about it.
I know where you. Yeah.
And then that's where he was.
I'm gonna go check it out.
So if you think about Zemo's head, like this is probably what he wanted. So he's up to something. It's just weird that he's done like that and that he's not going to be a part of.
He wore the
he'll be
mask
back.
once.
That's it.
That's
I thought he would wear it more. It looks so cool, the motherfucker.
He'll be back. I mean, they clearly laid the groundwork where he's like, we're taking him to the raft.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're going to put him with all the other bad people?
Great idea.
Yeah, he's clearly going to like break out and leave.
Great idea. And then post-credit scene, of course, we saw Walker banging away, working on his own shield. And it looked like he was like welding on his metals on top of the shield. We're going to see U.S. Agent. We also might see Sam in a brand new fucking awesome Wakandan Captain America suit with wings.
Oh, shit.
Possibly. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna do Falcon America.
He's going to be Falcon America with that the suit is badass if it looks anything like it does in the comics. You notice he left his old wings with Torres, and in the comics, that dude becomes Falcon. So now.
Yeah, so Torres is Falcon
Torres
now,
is Falcon,
and Sam's going to be Captain America.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know if you guys want to touch on it, but I mean, something that this episode did really, really well, which is long fucking overdue for the MCU and just for kind of like action blockbusters, if you will, is the discussion about race.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we have to talk about that conversation.
Absolutely, man. And when Sam and Isaiah have that, moment, that like 5-minute scene at Isaiah's house or whatever, I mean, that's like powerful, like, I mean, it's powerful, like acting, yes, but also it's just so relevant to, I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true shit, I mean, Isaiah could have been a soldier from Vietnam or something. They could have been having that conversation with, a soldier from modern day that just went to Afghanistan or something. It could have been the same type of conversation where if you look at, Black Lives Matter and you look at what's going on in the country, I mean, he's right. I mean, Marvel really had balls, I thought, to kind of like tell the truth in that scene. I thought it was really like I rewound and rewatched it because it was just so.
Carl Lumley was so good too.
Frankly, I couldn't believe that they did it. Frankly, on Disney Plus, I mean, it was just crazy. So
yeah, I watched it 3 times, and every time I was like, wow, they literally Marvel kind of staked its claim, like, yeah, this is. The U.S. has been really fucked up, and we're going to acknowledge it right now.
It's amazing from Disney. That line where he's like, they will never let a black man be Captain America, and no self-respecting black man should want to be Captain America. Fuck.
I just, the minute he says, I just see Obama facepalm.
But then
what do you mean?
I like Sam, how Sam takes all this and absorbs it, and in the end decides, I have to make my own decision now.
Right. That was the big thing is Sam's like, basically, I respect his opinion. I also like it doesn't matter. Like I understand it, but it doesn't matter. Steve's opinion, it doesn't matter. It's what you think of yourself,
right?
And the ideals you have and what you need to live up to on your own. And he feels like being Captain America is the right thing for him to do. And
if you're resistant to change and you fall into that kind of rut or whatever, then change is not going to happen. So I think Sam realizes like, I mean, I got to do this. I have to be the one to try to change this narrative, so to speak.
Dude, what's fucked up is that if that happened right now, for real, half the fucking country would be like, nope, you're not my Captain America. And he knows that this is what he's going to be facing. The story Isaiah Bradley tells straight from the comic books. In fact, the title of this episode, Truth, comes from his first appearance, the miniseries called Truth, Red, White, and Blue. And they had put him in World War II, and this one they moved it to the Korean War, where he breaks out, saves POWs, and what's the thanks he gets? They fucking experiment on him for 30 years.
It's a very analogous story to the Captain America, where he breaks out and saves everyone, and he's regarded as a hero.
Yeah.
But he goes and does it. First off, he's like, they wanted to bomb they wanted to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah, they're going to bomb the whole camp.
But those boys weren't evidence. Those were my boys, basically. Yeah. And then, he gets experimented.
Another brilliant parallel is we're talking about can you be a good man and a perfect soldier together, and how Steve Rogers was that. Also, Isaiah Bradley was another person where it stayed stable and it didn't corrupt him. It just made him more, and to think, it's just what would have been like if they used him.
He was clearly like in line with Steve Rogers. He again broke out.
To save
because of the color of his skin.
Exactly.
he was regarded as someone
Fuck,
different.
and then
Exactly.
life gets erased, and that story with the letters and his wife, and they told her he was dead, and she died. He didn't get through. Fucking hell, dude, that was amazing. What a great performance by Carl Loveland.
I even like Sam's line where he's like, "Steve did not kill you, man.
Yeah,
or Steve did
Steve
not
didn't
like put you in jail."
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I was
so
going
many
to
good
say,
perspectives. Go ahead, Gerald.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's in the cards or whatever, but I would love to see a series or a movie or something with like Isaiah.
Oh, they
back
could do
then.
that now.
yeah.
They could do that now.
You know,
they
like
could do a prequel
go back
series.
to the 60s or whatever
Fuck
and just
yeah.
show that kind of, I mean, it's obviously heartbreaking and we kind of know the ending at this point.
I feel like it'd be a really depressing
we saw it on
series.
this.
Right. Where he ended up, but man, what a story. Yeah, that was every time Isaiah Bradley, both times, both scenes have been fucking phenomenal.
Well, I just like too. Like, there, one thought is like Sam defending Steve and just being like, dude, you can't hate every white person because of what these white people did to you.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
yeah.
And then, but Isaiah's so far gone that he's like, it's over. Like, and he's like, and and he doesn't even like. I love the line where like he's Sam's like, we got to do something. We got to tell somebody. Like, I know people, and he's like, no, leave me dead. Like, we can't.
Yeah, he's like, you think they're not going to kill me the minute the story gets out, and they absolutely will. He's kind of right. It's too late to get the story out.
Mm-hmm.
Just a good all around, just really good lines.
Yeah,
really
everybody
well.
had great motivations and thoughts, and the show has done this whole time. The different sides that the humor is also great. I loved Bucky, where Sam's like, "Why didn't you use your metal arm?" He goes, "Oh, I sometimes I forget I'm right-handed."
I also love this chick throughout the episode of him flirting with his sister.
Sam's like,
too.
"Don't flirt with my sister." They had a little thing going. They should hook up.
I'm Bucky.
Yeah.
I'm Bucky. Sarah.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, the fuck is going on here? I feel like Bucky now, after that last conversation where Sam's like, look, you want some hard love, you got to go give closure to these people. Like, he's going to have to go back to that Japanese dude.
Yeah.
Tell him that he can kill his son. It's going to be fucking heartbreaking.
Hey guys, why didn't the date, the hot Asian chick that he went on a date with in episode 1, why didn't she come back? I loved her. I thought she was so charming and like.
It's a good
agree.
question.
But she never came back.
You know why? Where she's coming back?
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
That's
Right, maybe.
She's going to be in Shang-Chi.
I love that Imran picked that up.
You're going to come there.
95% Asian cast.
No, it's 96. We got her. We got the girl from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Okay,
He
good
was very
stuff.
charming.
I think we're ready for a fucking crazy finale with.
Well, let's go around real quick. I know
Yeah.
Gerald's already kind of hinted at it, but do we think the finale will live up to what they've built up so far?
It deliver?
I mean, for me, yes. I think I love that it's truncated. I love that it's 6 episodes. They keep it very tight and very, like it's right there. You can't really veer off into too many different paths or whatever. So I think because of that, I think they're going to wrap it up nicely. WandaVision, I enjoyed more.
Yeah.
I know they're different, but just from an enjoyment factor, I think I enjoyed that one more from beginning to end. And there were, a couple more episodes there. So I probably think it probably would have been better had they added and maybe did like 8 episodes, personally. But I think they'll do good. I mean, they know what they're doing. I mean, everything they've been putting out is great. So, we have qualms about them or whatever, but at the end of the day, they're great entertainment value, I feel like.
Ruggs, do you think they're going to stick the landing?
Let's see what pieces are on the board here.
What we got?
Okay, we got Batroc the Leaper. We got the rest of the flag
They're
smashers.
in New York City. They're gonna hit that meeting.
We got Sharon Carter, who may or may not be what's her face? The
Power broker. You got John Walker, still probably wants to kill Carly because she's the one who actually killed Lamar, and he lied to his family, Lamar's family.
Now we got Falcon America and Falcon.
Yes, and Falcon and Bucky.
And Bucky.
Yeah.
So if they can bring all of those pieces to the table and use them and use them well, and maybe Zemo, maybe Zemo, it'd be interesting. I don't know if they're going to introduce any new characters on the last episode. I really don't think they're going to do that. So those are the players that we have.
So you got to think about location too. The only way we're going to get like a power broker thing is if they go back to Madripoor for some reason. But right now, these people are in New York going after. So I don't know.
I mean, there's going to be action. There's definitely going to be, I'm going to say at least 15 minutes of action, if not more. Yeah. But like, are we at the end of this? Where are we going to be at? We're not going to, as the guy said, we're not going to have like a resolution. They're just going to be a different place.
Sam will officially be the new Captain America.
So Sam will be Cap.
Possibly, yes.
Walker will team up with Contessa.
Yes.
We'll find out what Sharon's deal is, and maybe we'll find out who the fucking power broker.
Torres will be the new Falcon.
What's the next series on Disney Plus after this? Do you think there's any cameos coming to lead us into that or no?
I feel like WandaVision, this show, and Loki, these are all different tracks that are setting up these different things in the MCU that kind of don't really cross over yet. You know, this is...
I was going to say, they could get really fucking crazy and just some random hero shows up in the last 10 minutes of this.
They were saying is old Steve Rogers is going to show up or some shit. That was a theory also. I feel like what we're going to get is similar to the end of WandaVision. Big things will be resolved. Pieces will be placed for the future. Not everything. There'll be some threads hanging. And then I think there's going to be a good balance of action. Hopefully more action than drama like they've been giving us. And lots of explosions. I don't know. Anthony, what do you think? Is it going to land?
I don't think they're going to have everything neatly tied up because I think there's just so many things going on. Similar to Gerald, I think I enjoyed WandaVision more up to this point, like in a similar track. I think WandaVision built so much that I think the finale for a lot of people was a little bit disappointing. Whereas this, I don't think it's had like the buzz that WandaVision's had. So I think inevitably actually it'll be like a little bit more crowd pleasing because it's not this like by episode 8 of WandaVision, we were all like, Mephisto's coming here. People were just losing their minds on like the possibilities. And I don't think that's happening in this. Yeah. I think this show has been a little bit more subdued in that aspect. So I think, although I don't think they'll be able to resolve everything, I think it'll be a satisfying conclusion for a lot of people.
WandaVision was satisfying. I thought they did that well, and I'm hoping for another.
I mean, what is the big thing that they need to resolve here?
I don't know. Stop the flag smashers. I don't know.
Yeah, what the heck the deal with the flag smashers is, and
power broker.
Who the power broker.
Those are the two things.
You can't have these super powered people out being fucking terrorists, basically. So that's gonna have to be resolved. U.S. agent is definitely, or Walker's going to be like the wild card. Like I could see him coming in, fucking things up at the wrong moment, or maybe not. And it's like a post-credit scene. This is the first post-credit scene we've had. So I think you're right, Anthony. I think it's better where we don't have too many expectations. So you can just go in and enjoy.
Yeah, just have a good time.
What they give you. If you guys want to hear an interesting podcast conversation, Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin had Ed Brubaker on recently.
Oh my God, that was heartbreaking.
Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting are the creators of The Winter Soldier. And Brubaker, he's so honest in this interview. And we all know for the longest time since Stan Lee started Marvel, the creators' rights have been an issue. It's the reason Steve Ditko left, the reason Jack Kirby left, the reason a lot of people left, the reason in the 90s Image started, and McFarlane took everyone, said, fuck this work for hire shit. We want to own our creation. So Ed Brubaker has said he had a small cameo in Civil War and Winter Soldier. He had one line. He's like, I get more money from residuals from that cameo than I do from creating fucking the Winter Soldier for the screen. And the reason is these contracts are 40-year-old contracts that never had any of this worked in. And it was work for hire. So you did it and they owned it.
It was heartbreaking because he was like talking about like how Bucky is his favorite character, and if he ever got to and if he ever got to work on a book, it would be a book. And he like fucking rewrote Nomad and got rid of Nomad, wrote that whole Bucky version out and put this Winter Soldier version, which is 10 times cooler.
All of this comes from him. Like a lot. He's like, they're pulling storylines that I came up with in my head. And he's like, it sickens me a little bit seeing the commercials for the show.
Then they invited him to the premiere of one of the movies. And they made him sit in
the overflow fucking theater.
Like he's the guy who created the shit that you made your movie about.
Character, and he put him in the overflow fucking theater.
So you can tell he's like super bitter about like no one giving a shit about you creating everything that everyone's making money off.
Well, but he makes his own stuff now. Yeah, dude. He was super honest. It was very refreshing to hear him talk about this.
That was the most quiet I've ever seen Kevin Smith ever.
He's just like
sitting there like, holy shit.
Kevin Smith like legitimately loves everyone and can't like criticize anything. So if someone comes on the show and criticizes things, he's just got to shut up.
He shuts down.
He's like, holy shit, negativity.
Oh my God. Can't say bad things about Daddy.
Yeah, and he tried to like spit it into something good, but
I know that like he kind of like Brubaker's like we're in such a, like a society that seeks justice now for like people. So like if I put this out there, maybe I can get a hashtag going and fucking pay Brubaker.
But he said he's like, I'm not pissed or bitter. It's just this is what it is, and it sucks, and people should know. And he's like, I love Sebastian Stan, and he's perfect for the role, and it's just a shitty situation that old contracts, you don't know what's going to happen.
Definitely check that out if you want to hear it. It's
very
great.
good. Also, check this out, listener. As we go to break, get some merch, get a T-shirt, a mug, a phone case with our logo on it, the old logo, new logo. Visit our shop, jockandnerd.com/shop over on TeePublic. There is a sale this week, April 22nd to 24th, up to 35% off everything. So you can get some swag and look sharp as you go out and watch movies again in the theater. People are doing. We're going to take a break and come back and talk about some really depressing movies as we discuss the Oscars, the 2021. Sorry. Right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Was A Quiet Place inspired by Signs That Comes at Night and War for the Planet of the Apes? Was Ready Player One influenced by Avatar, Wreck-It Ralph, and The Last Starfighter? Is The Hurricane Heist more influenced by Sharknado or Geostorm? These are the kinds of questions my guest co-hosts and I discuss on my podcast, Piecing It Together. Every week, we look at a new movie and try to figure out what other movies inspired it. Whether it's the story, the character development, tone, or even use of music. Every movie was influenced by something that came before it, and we want to figure out what. Check out Piecing It Together on your favorite podcast app or check us out on piecingpod.com. You can also follow us on social media at piecingpod. Piecing It Together is a part of the All Points West podcast network.
Hi, I'm Drew.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Tanner, and we are the hosts of Headline Heroes.
Every week we take a bizarre, out there article.
Germans build underground pipeline for beer.
An attempt to create a superhero or villain.
The obvious one is that they have a giant robot that runs off of beer.
Along the way, we discuss powers, design a costume, and of course, struggle with a name.
Gram Sam? No.
Gram Sam? No.
And inevitably, we get off subject and talk about the really important stuff.
I did go to Bill Engvall's website, and I just want to tell you a couple of things I'm seeing here.
Please do, I wish you would. But we always arrive with the super creation we are proud of. Join Headline Heroes every Tuesday as we try to make reality a little more super.
Zack and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, join our awesome fan club. You can be an awesome fan club member. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And you will be part of our exclusive Patreon community. For as little as $3 a month support, you will get a bonus RSS feed with bonus content. The shows come out early. We got a sports show, movie reviews. I've been putting up instant reactions to every episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. That will continue with the finale. And occasionally Anthony will record a sports show when there's sports that he's into. Nothing. Sports is kind of a dead zone right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of... There's not a ton. I mean, there's things going on, but nothing to really hype you up yet.
Okay, well, when there is, we'll let you know. Join the fan club, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, let's move into the main part here. Anthony, we have Gerald on because the 93rd annual Oscars Academy Awards ceremony will be this weekend, April 25th, in a pandemic situation. This year,
I'm pumped. I'm the first Oscars I'm going to watch it in its entirety.
Yeah,
you know, too. That's so ironic because they're saying this is going to be the lowest viewed fucking Oscars they've ever had, and their ratings have been on a decline since 2014. Fun fact, the Oscars ratings peaked in 1988 when 52 million people watched Titanic win the best picture that year.
Are you sure that's the right stat? 1988 is not
98. Sorry, 98.
This guy.
They were ahead of their time.
In 1988, it was some Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, that's still too early. Anyways, but 52 million people used to watch the fucking Oscars, and now they'll be lucky to get a couple million.
Can I just say something about that real quick?
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to sound like a movie snob, right? But what happens with the Oscars, and it's their own fault, is they are out of touch Like, they can't get out of the like old Hollywood, old white dudes in top hats, world that they live in.
3.5 hour show.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird. Now, if you're somebody like me, and obviously more recently Anthony too, that just like loves the art of filmmaking and loves movies, then we're going to be into it. We're not going to care what the show necessarily looks like or what, or who the host is or whatever. It's just honoring the movies that we love, that we saw the past year, and the different crafts that are involved in making those projects, which is what really, has gotten me into movies so much. But
well, this year, I think it's going to be a very unique watch. And I'm really interested in seeing the ceremony because, first of all, this closes the longest award season they've ever had because they pushed it back. Steven Soderbergh has been tasked to reinvent the show. There was an article came out today. He said, first of all, there's going to be no Zoom bullshit. There's remote locations with cameras. He wants to make it special. He wants to make it like an I Love Movies event. He's designing this like a movie, apparently. So I feel like we should expect these presenters doing like scripted scenes. And he said he's going to film it like a movie, not like a TV show. It's very interesting. He's just trying to, like you said, he's trying to update it and make and kind of make it something different.
Look, Soderbergh's a great filmmaker, man. Let's let him do it. I mean, he made an entire movie. You were talking about my love of horror earlier. He did a horror film about 5 years ago called Unsane. Oh. He filmed the goddamn thing on his iPhone.
Yeah. I mean, he did Contagion in 2011 that pretty much predicted the goddamn pandemic to a T. He is filming his second movie during the pandemic. So
it can't be any worse than when the Globes broadcast. That was
rough.
Yeah,
that was rough.
That was quite an introduction to award season for this guy.
That was
tough. Let me tell you.
It will be hostless again, as they've been doing past couple of years. So
yeah.
See, like I had this kind of theory that one of the reasons I watched the Oscars was to learn about movies that I hadn't already seen. Also,
that's a good take.
Yeah, if I saw all the movies, great, but it's also like, let's celebrate these movies and get people interested in them.
Yeah,
that's a good take.
So they don't really do it. It's so much about the celebrities and what the fuck that they think, and it's not about the movies or the art. Let's take a look at their performances and like I want to see it and just go, wow, that was fucking. I want to watch that movie now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's not what it's centered about. Like it used to be, or maybe was done in the past more. Now it's just like these long ass speeches, and it's just weird.
Yeah, as far as the show itself goes, I mean, Emrah was talking a little bit about it, but I mean, it's going to be tough this year, man. But I just saw, actually, I think it was today or yesterday, that they're not going to let I shouldn't say they're not going to let them, but they're not going to encourage the attendees that are going to be there to wear masks.
Well, they said on camera they don't have to wear masks.
It's on camera?
Yeah,
okay.
And it's kind of like if you were on a movie set. He's running it like that. If you're on a movie set, if you're on camera, you could take the mask off. The minute you get off, you got to put the mask on.
But to Rug Boy's point, I mean, he's right. So what people should be doing, the general public or general audience, whatever you want to call them, what they should be doing is they should be like, okay, what movies got nominated? What 8 movies got nominated for the best film of the last 15 months? Okay, and those 8 movies, Rug Boy should go, wow, maybe I should want to see them. What are they about? What's going on? So when he tunes into the Oscars, he's going to get a little taste of that, and it's going to entice him to, rent it or possibly go out to the theater to watch it. And most of the time, studios do re-release movies that get the Oscar push because they do want people to see them and be familiar with them when they come up on the broadcast.
Yep.
So he's absolutely 100% right. Because not everybody's me, who's watching 400 movies a year or whatever and just fucking loving it. You know what I'm saying? But they do need to bring in viewers to see these really great cinematic achievements because they really are a work of art, in my opinion. I know Anthony agrees with me, but I think they're just, a lot of the movies that are going to be mentioned at the Oscars this year are literally like perfect. Like they're flawless. Like there's so many great films that came out this past year that unfortunately, because of the pandemic or whatever, people just haven't seen.
But you can see a lot of these movies. They're across all the streaming services. I think this is the most that I've ever seen you could actually watch this year. So, Anthony, how do you want to do this? I want everyone to place their bets, take their prediction. I'm going to write it down. We'll tally up the scores after the ceremony.
We can do that. Me and Gerald will kind of. We've been kind of building towards this on Patreon. So if you've been following on Patreon, me and Gerald have done like maybe 2 or 3 I don't remember, at least two.
You did two, yeah. There's two shows.
Recordings where we were predicting things based on the data we had at the time. And now this is kind of like the lead up to that. And we're doing our final prediction. So if you've tuned in so far, I'm glad you can finally listen on the real show, and I appreciate you listening. Before we get into
how
predictions,
wrong we were.
See how wrong exactly. Yeah. So before we get into predictions, though, I know Gerald, you've already kind of mentioned how great some of these movies are, but for people that haven't seen these movies, specifically, let's say like the Best Picture nominations, but anything really that caught your eye and was nominated for stuff, like just overall, what are your thoughts on this year's crop? Standouts in your personal opinion that people should be watching? Anything that comes to mind.
I'm trying to stay seated here, but look, this was a phenomenal year for film. Okay, and the problem is that there was a goddamn global pandemic. Okay. But what that did is that really, and Imran alluded to this a minute ago, really made these films so much more accessible to people if they would just seek them out. There's movies that if they had limited theatrical releases because they're independent or whatever, like, The Father, Minari, those types of films, even Nomadland to a certain extent with Chloe Zhao. I mean, people would not be seeing them. They're right there, guys. Yep. They're literally available with your television remote in most cases. Seek them out. And what the Academy did this year, which I really, really appreciate, that they don't always do. They did it last year with a film like Parasite, but they really decided to throw in some hip, kind of out-of-the-box choices. Anthony knows that Promising Young Woman is like literally the greatest thing in the history of all time, in my opinion. So that is
just for what it's worth. If Promising Young Woman gets like any love in the major categories, Gerald is going to shoot to the fucking moon.
Oh my god, my surgery, it'll be like it never happened. I'll just be fucking perfect shape. But yes, but that's not an Oscar movie. To my point, that's a very like hip kind of
indie movie,
risque choice. Yeah. There's not a lot of that. Sound of Metal is another one. I mean, Sound of Metal is not necessarily an Oscar-y type movie. Mm-hmm. It's about a heavy metal drummer who loses his hearing. That's on Amazon Prime, guys. Anybody who has Amazon that has not seen Sound of Metal, like I would literally look at you and go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Go watch it.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's so good.
Please watch this. I mean, it's really, really good.
I haven't watched it yet. Actually, I've been wanting to. I just haven't done it.
But yeah, I don't want to drone on and on, but just to answer Anthony's question, I think that people are blinded by what happened in 2020 and, COVID, and they're kind of letting that kind of mask what's in front of them. Like, this was an amazing year. In my opinion, it was better than the 2019 year in film. And if we're just talking about, year over year, I feel like we had a better lot of films in the last 14 to 15 months because obviously they extended their time that they were eligible. So I think a lot of the films that we're going to talk about here in a second, if you haven't seen them, namely Promising Young Woman, you need to seek them out immediately.
I feel like one of the reasons, besides the fact that we're in COVID, and I feel like it's such a down year and we've been so cooped up, I don't want to have any more things to think about that's heavy, So I kind of stayed away this year.
That's fair.
I also feel like the sense of the epic movie is not in this, and or like when I found like, oh, these are these sweeping epic things that are like huge productions, or that was like whatever. These are like all these smaller movies,
right?
And even though I like those, and I like the fact that it's expressed, but they're all. I don't really think there's
there's not a big budget movie on here.
No,
or not even a big budget, but like just something that is epic in scale and scope.
You mean like a Titanic type deal, kind of?
Yeah, nothing like that. Like it seemed like to be all like on a similar level. Or similar like budget, similar.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of very small movies that are just like these character stories.
You know what else I noticed? This year, there's no period movie that takes place in Victorian England with like Michael Caine or Anthony Hopkins. There's always one of those fucking movies.
Well, Anthony Hopkins is around though. He's in The Father.
He is, but it's
he's always in there.
There's no like he's a butler in a castle in Victoria. Like there's always one of those fucking movies in here.
No, to that point, I mean, this is a pretty, in my limited Oscar gaining knowledge, this is a pretty unique year in terms of like there's not a ton of
absolutely
like there's some historical recreations, but like Judas
there's
is
a few.
But Judas is like they don't normally do Black Panther type stuff. Like all these stories are not really Oscar-y other than like Mank. Like Mank is like clear, like old school.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to point out.
That's the biggest sweeping. But everything is tackling something heavy, you know? All of these movies kind of tackling this one heavy theme, and they do it well.
Yeah. Well, when movies are about something, they're usually, really heavy, and they tackle something,
Yeah.
So it's great. I just, for some reason, maybe I'm going to catch up with all of these soon at some point, but
maybe you'll be compelled after we discuss here.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
I watched two more of these this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, what'd you watch? Where are you at?
I watched Promising Young Woman.
Oh, my guy. All right,
it's a $6 rental now. So I was waiting for it to fucking go down. But then...
You know what? I was going to send you my digital code. I forgot
that's
about
right.
that.
Whatever. It's fine. Now, and then I watched Minari, which is still a $20 fucking rental. But... I caught up. So I've seen...
do you want to tell us what you thought of those?
Well, we can get there. We'll get there after you do the prediction.
In the meantime,
after the prediction.
I'm sitting there waiting with bated breath to watch Nobody.
Yes, I want to see that too.
I just saw that. It was really good.
Yeah, I want to fucking see Nobody too. That looks amazing.
I'm like, that's the one I'm clamoring for. It's not an Oscar film.
No, but it's really good though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's where my head's at right now. Like, I want to be convinced. I want to be kind of convinced to watch something. So guys, have at it.
All right. Imran, do you want to do all these categories? Me and Gerald have only been doing like the 6 majors.
Yeah, the major 6.
Wherever you want to start. I mean, I got thoughts on
Gerald,
some of them.
I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to throw in these other
Whatever
3
you
real
wanna
quick or
do.
no?
I think the major 6, but I don't know if you want to quickly touch on animated since we did cover
Yeah,
Soul on this show.
I put that in
Yeah,
there
we'll
for
just
that.
do animated
Okay.
real quick. So the animated crop, Onward, Over the Moon, a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, Soul, and Wolfwalkers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got to be Soul, right, Gerald?
I think it is because it's fucking Disney Pixar, and it's also a really, really good movie. I mean, the music in this movie is phenomenal. Cartoon Saloon that did Wolfwalkers deserve better because every year that they're involved, they're up against Disney.
Yeah, you can't beat Disney.
Okay, and you just can't. I mean, and I'm not taking away from Soul. If I was an Academy voter, I would be voting for Wolfwalkers because I love them both equally, and Wolfwalkers is a pure underdog.
It's definitely underdog, yeah.
It's a movie where it's like, I mean, it's literally like David versus Goliath because you have Disney against Cartoon Saloon, which is like 10 guys making an animated movie in their apartment.
10 Irish dudes, too. Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Irish,
Yeah.
too.
They're
That's
drunk,
a real big
drunk all the
burden,
time.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think it's Soul pretty easily, but I do love the fact that Wolfwalkers is at least that runner-up, I feel like,
I'm going Soul. Do we want Imran and Russ to pick?
Everyone
predictions?
pick.
Okay.
I've seen Onward, Soul, and Wolfwalkers. It's funny, Onward is in there. That was so long ago, and it's Disney against Disney a little bit. And I agree, Wolfwalkers is beautiful. The accents, the story. But it's going to be Soul, especially about what it's dealing with and the time we're in. They got to give it to Soul. Ruggs, what do you think?
I saw Over the Moon, and I really liked it. But Soul's heads
everyone said Soul.
Soul across the board.
Across the board.
Should we, moving forward, make Rug Boy pick first just because he hasn't seen anything?
Yes, that'll be funny.
Oh, yeah, just pick on the logo.
I like that.
Yeah, all right.
Okay,
that'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah, Soul's going to win. And by the way, this is, at least from my perspective, I'm just picking the movies that I think will win, not what I would want to win.
No, we should all be picking the movies we think the Academy is going to pick.
Right.
That's the game.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the game.
Okay, so we'll get into the acting categories. So we'll start with Best Supporting Actress. So right now it's Maria Bakalova, Glenn Close from Hillbilly Elegy, Maria Bakalova from Borat, Olivia Colman from The Father, Amanda Seyfried from Mank, and Yoo Jung-yoon from Minari. Before we get into any analysis, Ruggs, what's your pick?
My pick?
blind pick.
I don't. My blind pick. I'm gonna say Maria Bakalova because it's the only movie I've
It's
seen.
a good blind pick.
That's a good one,
Blind pick. Okay, now we can discuss now. Gerald, I think this was one of those categories when we first started talking that we thought was way up in the air.
It is
And
such
I feel
a
like
toss-up.
And I feel like it's been actually gotten much clearer with the BAFTA win. And
Who won those?
Yoo Jung-yoon
Yes.
won the
Saw
BAFTAs. I
that.
believe she won the SAG too, right?
Wow.
Right.
So those are the crossover categories. I feel like she's in the lead.
Yeah, I think Yoon for Minari. Well, I'll just give you my pick. It's going to be Yoon for Minari. However, I literally think this is a heads and tails flip of the coin between
race.
her and Maria Bakalova.
Really?
Now, when Anthony and I talked a couple months ago, I said Glenn Close, 100%. She's going to win. But now, and this happens to poor Glenn Close every couple years. where she's like the front runner forever, and then like the last 2 months, these like young people come in and just kind of take over or whatever.
Will she
take over the
an
narrative.
Oscar?
So I'm going to go Yoo Jung-yoon for Minari here, but I think
Yoon as well.
I think Maria could be a dark
So
horse.
Yoo Jung-yoon played the grandmother, right, in Minari?
That's correct.
She was
yeah.
amazing. Glenn Close been nominated 8 times and never fucking won.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I would say, and I'd have to go back and look, Imran, but I would say like 5 or 6 out of those 8, she was like the front runner the whole time. It was like the favorite, you know what I mean? And like, it's just, she just gets beat, at the last second. So it really sucks because she's a veteran actress that does such amazing work. And she, to her credit, she's really the only like positive thing to take away from Hillbilly Elegy. It's not a very good movie.
I heard it was a little boring.
It's the only movie on this list that I still haven't seen.
I heard it wasn't the greatest. Anthony, what is your pick?
Yoo Jung-yoon as well. I just because of her SAG win and the BAFTAs, it's a lot of crossover members on all the board on those, and I think she's kind of, I mean, her or Maria Bakalova, if either of those won, I'd be over the moon for either of those characters.
Those are your top 2.
I agree. I would love Maria to win. She was amazing in that movie.
And you don't like politics to creep into things, but they do. And the Academy knows what's going on right now with, Stop Asian Hate and everything unfortunately happening in society right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, Minari is an Asian film. It's about, assimilation in America from an Asian family.
Parasite won last year.
Beautiful story. Parasite won last year. You have that connection.
You guys convinced me. That's my pick too now.
Imran, by the way, before we move on to the next one, did you catch the moment in Minari that I told you made me laugh fucking hard?
There was a bunch of moments that I was thinking about that the whole time. I was
what's the one you think I could have bowled over laughing?
So it's either the pee drinking or the broken ding dong.
It's the pee drinking. The reaction she has to the pee drinking.
Yes,
I laughed. I rewound it and laughed just as hard as the first time.
Fucking kid, I was like, "Oh no, what are you doing?" And then
it was really good.
And then later he asked her what it tastes like. It was hilarious. But I was thinking about the whole time of watching this movie. I was like, "Which moment?" It's like it's got to be broken ding dong or pee drinking. It's got to be one of these.
The way she drinks it thinking it's Mountain Dew. It's fucking so funny.
Can I just say, like I said, I watched Minari. Yoo Jung-yoon, she was so real. Like, I have relatives. She reminded me of my Asian fucking aunts and like the older people in our Eastern culture. So real, so great. And that was a great story.
That's a strength of that movie, just in general, is just how real it feels.
Yeah. Yes.
And how beautifully it's shot, but how like the acting.
Was that supposed to take place like now? Present day?
No, the
80s.
80s
it was
Arkansas.
The 80s Arkansas.
It's like 1985 or something.
So that's the thing too, is like you think 80s Arkansas, Asian family on a farm. Oh my God, this is gonna be a really racist movie. It's like not. Not at all.
No.
Like they hardly ever even broach the subject of like them assimilating and like people not accepting them.
Right. They're already working there, and there's people working there.
I mean, like the church is like super accepting of them. Like, stand up.
Yeah, like, beautiful family. Look at
beautiful family. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, all right, cool.
I mean, you think about like Japanese people have been here since the 1800s. Like there has been assimilation. So, but still, great fucking movie. All right, we got our picks for best supporting actress down.
I think those are good picks. Best supporting actor, we got Sacha Baron Cohen from The Trial of Chicago 7. Daniel Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr., One Night in Miami, Paul Raci, Sound of Metal, Lakeith Stanfield, Judas and the Black Messiah, Rug Boy.
Another tight race.
Let's see.
Have you seen any of these?
Yes, he has.
Trial of Chicago 7,
Okay.
I
You saw that
Okay.
Okay, all right.
I did see that. So I'm going to say Daniel Kaluuya in a movie I didn't see.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
That's Fred Hampton.
Unfortunately, I think this is the biggest lock, right? I think, Gerald, what do you think? I think it's Daniel Kaluuya. He's won everything.
I think he's a lock here.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, all right? And it might be controversial. I told you when you came on my Patreon, we talked about it last time. Paul Raci, of this 5 right here, Paul Raci's performance is literally like an alien from another planet. I mean, it's unworldly what he does in this movie.
That's another one where it's so real, right?
Oh my
like
God. I mean,
it's like such a real person.
Yeah, very real.
And I'm talking about as a viewer, of course this is at home because on Amazon, I can't remember if it got released theatrically. I don't think it did though. But you're watching it and I'm talking about just like looking at like Paul Raci's eyes even, like when he's talking, when he's in the scene, when he's in the moment, and when he has to say goodbye or he's trying to, give advice to his protege or like whatever, like you just feel like this is a real dude. Like I'm not watching a movie.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just does such an amazing job in Sound of Metal, and not to take anything away from Kaluuya or Sacha Baron Cohen, who has also been thrown around in this category. I mean, all these performances are top tier, but Paul Raci just did something where he made me forget that I was watching a movie, and I felt like I was like looking in a window and actually watching it happen in front of me. And is there something to be said for the amount of dedication to the craft that goes into that when they're able? And Riz Ahmed too.
My boy Riz.
We'll talk
amazing.
We'll talk about him in a little bit. I agree. I think Paul Raci was really good. I think actually this is a very strong overall. Like I liked all of these performances.
Leslie, dude, yeah.
Leslie Odom's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Judas and the Black Messiah. I read this somewhere that they kind of like game the system with this because Daniel Kaluuya. I mean, both of these guys, Lakeith Stanfield, Daniel Kaluuya, could really be argued as Best Actor nominations, but I read somewhere that like they were afraid to go up against Boseman, so they wanted Kaluuya to win.
I can see that.
Actor.
I can see that.
I see that. I mean, Daniel Kaluuya is the most over the top, bodacious performance out of all these guys. And
I mean, I will tell you, I have a lot of critic friends. Nobody was saying Lakeith's name prior to him being nominated. It was literally the biggest shock.
For anything.
And even in this category, but I mean, they weren't even saying he was good because he was considered the lead in this movie to begin with. Right.
He's Judas.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I love him. And again, that's not to take away from his performance. It's great. It was just a surprise, is all.
Yeah, I mean, this essentially says that Judas and the Black Messiah has no lead actor.
No lead actor.
Which is insanity because both of these guys are the name of the title of the movie.
Look, I feel like the Oscars trying to catch up. I'm still salty when Denzel Washington didn't get a fucking nomination for Malcolm X because he was fucking amazing.
He didn't get nominated for that?
No, I
thought he did.
No, they gave it to him for Training Day later. Maybe he got a nomination. And
he's been nominated quite a few. He's been nominated for Fences, Training Day, but I felt like he got nominated for Malcolm X. Maybe I'm wrong.
Let me find out. But I feel like they're trying to like catch up now. And Kaluuya as Fred Hampton, I mean, that is a polarizing figure, especially right now. Oh, he was nominated for Best Actor, but didn't win. So he did get the nomination. But he should have won. He should have fucking won in 1993. Not in 2002.
So I said Kaluuya. Rug Boy said Kaluuya, right?
Yeah, I got Kaluuya.
And you got right. Kaluuya. What about you, Emron? Are you going against the grain to get a point here, or what are you doing?
Man, they're all such great. Sacha Baron Cohen would be amazing, but I think I'm going to go Daniel Kaluuya.
All right.
Yeah, because you have to. He's sweeping.
All right, this next one, I'm going to set it up. I think this is the biggest. We don't know what's going to happen.
Don't upset me, Anthony.
I think Best Actress. This next category is I have no idea what's going to happen. So
yeah, sure you do.
Maybe. No, I don't know. Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day for United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. I want to also set this up for Ruggs. A different actress has won in every major category, or every major award show. So Viola Davis won
for Best Actress.
The SAG.
There's been no consistency.
Really?
Right?
Carey Mulligan won Critics' Choice. Andra Day, huge surprise, won the Golden Globe, and then Carey Mulligan won the. Oh, that's sorry. Frances McDormand won the BAFTA, which is
Vanessa Kirby's the only one that hasn't gotten an accolade.
Wow!
Yep.
Wow!
So, Ruggs.
Wow!
What do you think?
So how do I go about doing this? Do I pick the oldest? Do I pick the youngest? Do I pick who has the biggest boobs? Like, no, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out like some kind of a way to figure this out. I'm going to go with Frances McDormand because I saw Nomadland.
You saw that?
I mean, I don't know. She was fine in it, I guess. But like, yeah.
You saw Nomadland, Rux?
Yes, I did.
Did you like that?
I liked it.
I'm just curious.
It didn't like turn my world upside down. I thought it was fine. Yeah.
I love Frances McDormand. The reason I asked is because, and I've mentioned this to Anthony before, the best parts from an acting perspective in that movie are the non-actors.
Yeah. Well,
the actual nomads in that movie. Those were real life nomads that were essentially reenacting their experiences. They were what I was most intrigued with from a performance standpoint. Now, Frances McDormand, I love. And I think she is deserving of this nomination, but I mean, Anthony knows who I think's in this category. But we'll get there, I guess.
Though?
Yeah, who do you think they're going to pick?
I'm picking Carey Mulligan. There's no actress.
Yeah.
That I mean, guys, this is a suspense thriller rom-com.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, she has so many different layers in this movie, and really is just a transformative figure who is telling an important story, with hashtag Me Too and everything that's going on from a female empowerment perspective, but also it shouldn't be fun, but she makes it a fun watch too, until you get to the last, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, crazy ending on that
which
one.
we would all agree is not maybe fun. But generally speaking, it's a fun watch, as a whole. Mm-hmm. And I think Carey Mulligan's performance, if you put another actress in there that's not able to do that, to kind of teeter-totter between sanity and just this levity, and she does such an amazing job at it. She's a great actress. She's been nominated before in a movie called An Education, which I also thought she should have won for, and she didn't. So I hope that trend doesn't continue.
She's British too, right?
And she is British, yeah.
Because she hosted Saturday Night Live, and I was like, oh shit, she's British.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, actually. But yeah, Carey Mulligan's my pick. I can't go against her, Anthony. You know better than that.
Imran, do you want to go or should I go?
I'll go. This one is really tricky. I feel like Frances has won twice, and to your point, Gerald, her performance, she just kind of slips in there. It's such a restrained, she just has to hang out with the real people. They're just hang out with these people. We're going to film it. Is she acting? She's just hanging out. But it is so real. And I haven't seen, I know the Andra Day story, first movie, first time out playing Billie Holiday. It's a huge role to take. And I know she's a singer. I'm going to go Frances. I think they're going to give it to Frances. Yeah.
Frances had 3 billboards, and she has a great history with the Academy. Yeah. So that's why I'm literally crossing my fingers. They're like, okay, we've given Frances some awards. Let's give them to someone else.
I mean, come on.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Those are. I mean, she's won twice, Fargo and 3 billboards. So here's where my head's at. I've been leaning Carey Mulligan for a while now.
Don't do it to me, Anthony. Don't do it to me.
Frances. I think that it comes down to Frances, Carey Mulligan, and Viola Davis. I think Vanessa Kirby, she hasn't won anything. That'd be just crazy out of left field. Andra Day, she won the Globe, but that's 87 people, and that movie sucks. I think that movie's so far down. That movie's already cooled off a lot.
Yeah, she's the equivalent of Glenn Close in supporting.
Right,
I mean,
right.
It's she's the best part of a horrible movie.
Horrible movie. That movie's terrible. No one should watch that movie. Viola Davis winning the SAG.
Yeah, they could give it to
really
Viola.
Threw me through a loop, though. And I'm 60-40. I almost feel like I'm going to make the pick for Viola Davis, but I'm going to stick to my guns and go Carey Mulligan.
Oh,
I think
Okay. There's my guy.
I'm doing it for Jared. I also think Viola Davis transforms. She's great in that fucking movie.
Yeah. She really is good in it.
But there's also an argument that we'll get to it. Can you have 2 Best Actor and Best Actress winners from a movie that didn't even get nominated for Best Picture? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. Carey Mulligan, it's not an Oscar performance, but I feel like they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna honor something that wasn't really an Oscar performance, and I
hope so.
Carey Mulligan's gonna win.
I hope so, because unfortunately I know we'll get to it, but unfortunately I don't think it stands a chance for director or picture, which. Guys, if Emerald Fennell or The Picture win, you'll never hear from me again. I'll just leave and just exist somewhere and enjoy.
Carey Mulligan, she plays. I did love how she's like a vigilante. She's like a feminist punisher. It's fun to watch that shit.
A lot going on for her in that role.
Yeah,
right.
So okay, all right, cool. And then we're moving on. Best Actor. We got Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins in The Father, Gary Oldman in Mank, and Stephen Yeun in Minari. Ruggs, what's your pick?
I'm going with the Chad.
That's a nice pick.
We got to honor the man.
Yeah. So this was a category that seemed locked up until the BAFTA, right? Am I right there, Gerald? Because Chadwick Boseman was sweeping everything. And then Anthony Hopkins won the BAFTA. And the only reason that might be something to consider is the BAFTA has some crossover with the Oscars.
True. Although this year is different. And we talked about how they had different committees for different categories with a limited number of...
the voting body though once is there's some cross. Like I think
right for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Them picking the contenders was a small committee, but then the voting body itself got
exactly.
to vote on it. Yeah,
you're right on that part. I don't know, man. I mean, Anthony Hopkins winning a BAFTA to me is like me eating a cheeseburger. Like, I feel like it's just something that should happen.
Normal.
You know what I mean?
It's a Tuesday.
It's clear though. Here, let me make the argument. I'm not saying I'm picking him just yet. It's clear the Academy really liked The Father much more than they liked Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And there's an argument there that Riz Ahmed was also fucking great.
He's
Let's
amazing.
not forget him. But Anthony Hopkins might have given his best performance ever in The Father.
Mm-hmm. Look, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give my pick for Chadwick Boseman.
Right,
I don't
fair.
think now this is a similar scenario to what we were talking about earlier with Minari, but I just don't see how. I mean, they need to honor his legacy and his career as opposed to just his performance in Ma Rainey. So I feel like this is where Chadwick Boseman gets his comeuppance in that category because now it was an amazing performance. Ma Rainey, frankly, without Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman, I wouldn't have even liked it, to be honest. Their performances really carried that film. The music, too, was great. Yeah. But without those three main components, I probably wouldn't have even really enjoyed that movie, just from a personal enjoyment level. But Chadwick Boseman is phenomenal in that film. He has a couple like really intense monologues in that movie where he's just like, I mean, the acting is just on full display. Like you can tell that he's just like in another like realm when he's delivering those speeches. And then like, I'm sure when they said cut, he like kind of like fell down like, oh God, it's over. Thank God. Like you could tell it.
While he's filming this literally. And it looks like he learned how to play the trumpet for reals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I heard that as well. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to go Chadwick Boseman here. The performance is great. But I think that, it's posthumous, and they've done this before with actors that have passed away, before their time. So they're going to look at it as a way to honor him as well. So I just don't, and especially with everything going on in the world today, I just don't see them as a whole. Now, of course, he's not going to get 100% of the vote, but as a whole, I just don't see them not giving him this award.
It's an opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for them to look good.
Yeah, I even joked with Anthony when we spoke on Patreon, but I mean, my favorite performance in this category is Riz Ahmed.
Me too.
Riz Ahmed gives the best out of all these.
He's
Anthony
great.
Hopkins is probably a close second, and then Chadwick. Now, that's my order, right? But even I, as an Academy voter, would probably be voting for Chadwick.
I mean, they gave it to Heath Ledger posthumously.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
they did, yeah. So
posthumously.
Chadwick's my pick.
Yeah, so if I were say, I mean, this is one of those things that sucks to say it, but I think if Chadwick was alive, it would have been like, yo, you made it to the Oscars.
You're not winning it though.
But it's like you made it. You're going to get nominated again. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
You'll win it eventually.
Yeah, we're giving it to Hopkins. He's
Unfortunately, he passed away, right?
Yeah,
at the end of the day, I have to also pick Chadwick Boseman. Personally, I think Anthony Hopkins gives the performance of the year, and I would have had Anthony Hopkins, but I wouldn't have minded Riz Ahmed either. Gary Oldman doesn't belong in this category, but for what it's worth, they should knock off Gary Oldman and put Delroy Lindo.
They should have, yeah, or really any number of people. I mean, Gary Oldman lays in bed for 80% of this movie.
He doesn't fucking do anything.
He reads from a script.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, I could have done that.
You get nominated for an Oscar.
He just gets drunk and lies down.
I mean,
Perfect.
I mean, I love him. I love Gary Oldman. I feel like that would be another situation, but they just did that. He just won for the one where he played Winston Churchill. I can't remember the name for some reason. I can't remember the name of the movie for some reason. Anyway, he just won for that. So they did that. So that would be a situation where, like, if he hadn't won for that, now they would possibly be thinking about Gary Oldman's career. You know what I mean? And then give it to him for May.
Hour.
Oh, that's it.
The Darkest Hour, right? Yeah,
that was a boring ass movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was greatly directed, though. I have to say,
the darkest, boringest hour ever.
Very, very beautifully directed.
I can barely see anything.
The darkest, boringest, multiple hours.
It was beautifully directed and fucking boring as hell.
Hey, there you go. That's Oscar. That's an Oscar winner right there.
That's an Oscar winner. Yeah.
For what it's worth, Anthony Hopkins only won one time. Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
Four-time nominee, one-time winner. So.
Yeah, so he was only on camera in Silence of the Lambs for 12 minutes.
Wow.
And he won the Academy Award for it. It's a 2-hour movie.
Holy shit.
Wow. That's a great stat. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like he's in that movie the whole time, and You're absolutely right. He isn't
He's
really
not.
in the
He's like
movie.
Batman in that last fucking Dark Knight Rises. He's in there for 8 minutes.
And think of like how many like movies since are like recreated those like interrogation scenes.
Every line of his is quotable and memorable. Everything
Well,
he
even,
delivers.
we just talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
They redid that.
Yeah.
They had him in the glass cell and then talking to him and stuff.
That's right.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
with Zemo.
That's right.
And someone throws jizz at
At his metal arm, and because it's metal, it just dries real quick and it's just crusty.
Fries his fava beans.
That's the part that I remember the most from that movie. Besides the guy
Jizz
tucking his
throwing.
balls behind his chest.
Buffalo Bill.
That sticks with you.
Puts the lotion on the skin.
Very disturbing.
I like Stephen Yeun getting a nomination too, though. That's nice to see. You got Riz
for sure.
and
Yeah, he
Stephen
was
Yeun.
great.
That was nice because it's not really an Oscar-y performance.
Yeah,
it's a very subtle performance.
Well, like
but
Frances McDormand's performance, though.
similar.
You know,
yeah,
and the
similar.
movie reminds me of Nomadland a little bit, and like just where it's just shit happens. Shit just happens.
Minari?
Yeah.
Also, it's also like similarly like very beautiful landscapes and like very colorful.
Yep. Very open
So,
and it breathes. The screen gets to breathe. Yeah.
These next two, I feel like, are going to be not very conversational, but so I feel like we should highlight some of the other stuff in here. So we'll start with Best Director. Lee Isaac Chung from Minari, Emerald Fennell from Promising Young Woman, David Fincher in Mank, Chloe Zhao in Nomadland, and the surprise, Thomas Vinterberg from Another Round.
Fuck.
Now, how is nobody from this movie nominated for anything else? It's just he directed really good and the script wasn't good? Or
Mads Mikkelsen isn't. You mean Another Round?
Yeah,
You talking about Thomas Vinterberg?
Yeah.
That
he was
was.
referring to how come Another Round only got this.
Yeah, that
slot.
was a surprise. That was a surprise.
Why do you think that is, Gerald?
Well, I don't know, but Vinterberg is a veteran director that has been snubbed many times in his career.
Yeah.
So he's done so many great films that I feel like they were just kind of finally like, wow, this is fucking amazing. Now, you know what would have been great? We were talking about Gary Oldman and Best Actor. Mads Mikkelsen could have easily
absolutely
been in that spot for Best Actor, too. It's an international film. It's a foreign film. It's also nominated in that category, and frankly, will probably win in that category.
Gotcha.
But I think that was similar to
I think the last Lakeith, yeah. Absolutely. It definitely was a surprise. I think, but although if you look at Oscar the last 3 years, it's not a long time. They've been kind of doing the like foreign film in these directing. So they did like Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
Yeah.
Obviously that won everything. But the year before, Pavel Pawlowski got nominated for Cold War, and that at that time was a surprise. So I think they were like, I think because the Oscar base is getting a little bit more international.
Sure.
There's a little bit more love being thrown to like these international European directors. So
sure.
I think that's what it is.
And Vinterberg's a veteran name that everybody loves. So it was one of those things where like when you heard it, it was like, oh, okay, yay, Vinterberg. But also you were like, what the fuck? Like,
I mean, it made me go and watch the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great movie. I really liked it.
You can see it.
It's a fun movie.
It is on Hulu.
I'm gonna
now,
have to check
right.
that out.
Definitely on Hulu. Unfortunately, I think this is a pretty clear. Well, Ruggsy, what do you think?
What for the
Best director?
Best director, yeah.
I'm gonna say Nomadland.
Yeah, you are.
That is the clear winner in terms of what everything's kind of trending towards.
I mean, I've been hearing that all year. Anyway.
Yeah, that's my pick too.
The sweep of sweeps. Yeah, I'm going to say Chloe Zhao too. Emerald Fennell is my favorite. You guys won't be surprised. She creates just this like pop art come to life in Promising Young Woman.
Absolutely.
She does a lot of really unique things with the camera, a lot of shots that, frankly, the Academy doesn't usually recognize, and they probably won't again this year. But she's just really she's just creating. Like you can tell that she's just experimenting with the camera, and the same thing can be said for Karen Logan's performance and some of the music choices in the film with the needle drops. And it was literally just like a film project. It's just like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to make this weird vision. And I thought it was a beautifully directed film. It's my favorite, but nobody is beating Chloe Zhao this year for Nomadland, in my opinion.
Imran?
Yeah, I'm going Chloe Zhao also.
Okay. All right.
Because it is beautifully shot, and
For sure.
I want her. I have a stat. I want her to beat this record. The stat is, first of all, you're probably going to say Nomadland has received. You said it's got the most prizes so far out of any movie. Chloe Zhao could tie Walt Disney as the most awarded person during a single ceremony if she sweeps Best Picture, Directing, Adapted Screenplay, and Editing.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
So it also is lining up. I mean, this has been for a while, but it's also lining up with the Stop Asian Hate. And, she's be the first, I think the third woman, right, to be won Best Director, and then the first Asian woman.
Yep.
So like it's all lining up perfectly for. Nomadland's not my personal favorite out of these like directing choices, but it is beautifully shot. I mean, it does feel like the entire movie occurs on like a postcard.
Yeah,
like the way it's shot is just like unbelievably
for the
beautiful.
optics alone, it seems like the good move to do, and plus it's a good movie, so it's
absolutely. So then moving on, Best Picture, 8 movies this year. Is this the last year they're doing under 10? Gerald,
are they doing 10 for sure next year?
I'm not sure. I think maybe.
I didn't know if that was next year, but they do anywhere from 7 to 10.
Anywhere from 7 to 10.
Yeah.
So we got 8. We have The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and Trial of the Chicago 7.
Wow.
Ruggs, do you want to make your pick?
Wow. It's a tough one. I'm going to pick, out of the two that I saw, I'm going to pick Trial of the Chicago 7.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, put you down.
I'm going to start off by saying I think Nomadland's the clear winner. My favorite of this crop is The Father.
Oh,
for what it's
interesting.
Worth.
Wow.
But I the only movie I actually don't like out of these is Mank.
Yeah, I knew that much.
Nomadland is actually also near the bottom in terms of just personal enjoyment. I'm going to throw in, if there's a movie that could be a wild card pick, I'm going to say, I've been saying Trial for the longest time, but I'm going to back off Trial, and I'm going to say it's Minari.
Okay.
If there's a film that's not going to be not named Nomadland that's going to win, I think Minari has potential. I think the Academy really likes Minari. Again, it's relevant to what's been going on, and I think it's also just beautifully shot. So, like, I think Minari has a chance. I think Trial has a small chance. I think it's like 90% Nomadland, and then the rest, like, give it a number.
Will they go 2 Korean movies Best Picture back to back?
They could.
That would be crazy. That would be
you
crazy.
have the Parasite connection there, for sure.
Although, clear distinction, Minari is made by a director that is actually American.
Oh, it is an American movie.
He's an American director.
It's largely
he's
in
Korean American.
Oh, he's Korean American. Okay, and then
but it's not like it's not actually a foreign made
right.
film.
Like Parasite was totally foreign, taking place in Korea, South Korea.
Right.
So wait, what's your pick?
I'm going Nomadland.
Okay.
I had to throw in like to kind of spice it up, maybe something else, but Nomadland I think is going to win.
Oh,
not my favorite movie of this.
Yes. All right, Gerald.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough.
Maybe say some nice things about other movies too.
Yeah, I know. It's so tough because if you look at, these 8 films, for example, just talking about this one category, and you're looking at them as what they are, for what they are, just what you're seeing on the screen, the story that's being played out, the performances, all the different things that play into it that might interest you, like the score and the cinematography and so on, then you could pick what you think the best is, right? And I'm talking about if you're an Academy voter. But sometimes what's tough, especially in 2021, is like the optics and the relevancy of some of these projects start to kind of bleed into what we're talking about. And you're dead on when you talk about a movie like Minari or even Judas and the Black Messiah, because they are so relevant to the world that we're living in. So by default, sometimes they seem more important.
So it's Promising Young Woman.
Promising Young Woman too, because of Me Too and female empowerment for sure. And then you look at a movie like The Trial of Chicago 7, which is an historical picture, but it also has relevancy today. So there's a few in here that really kind of could blur the lines there. Now, I'm with Anthony lockstep where I think, or I should say, I would be surprised if Nomadland didn't win this. I think this is a 1-2 punch. Chloe Zhao is going to be on stage for both of these. Yeah. So she's going to get director, and then she's going to be backstage and come back out for Best Picture. That's my opinion. Yeah. You guys know Promising Young Woman is my favorite, but I just think that it's tough, because you don't know. I mean, if you have a ballot, I guess I should ask you dudes, because I really don't know, frankly. But you have a ballot, and you know what's going on in the world.
What do you pick? What do you check?
I don't know. Do you feel an obligation to pick just based on what you saw on the screen, or are you letting other factors kind of sway your decision? Just asking. I don't know.
What I think of is each of these, like, it's interesting how The Father and Sound of Metal, from what Anthony told me about The Father, they're both dealing with an affliction and making you feel like you are living, you are experiencing this, right?
Yep.
So that to me, because Sound of Metal did it amazingly. Like, you know what it felt like to lose your hearing, and it was fucking frightening to think about that, right? And then the rest of these, like you said, like Judas and the Black Messiah, super relevant. Minari, do they feel guilt? There's like, what is there, like 10,000 voters out there? And I know voting is low this year. A lot of people skip the first round in the Academy. So does guilt make you vote a certain way? Because I could make a case for Minari and Judas for that, but I agree with you guys. Like, she's going to sweep No Man Land.
I think that's an interesting question, Gerald. If I were an Academy voter, I would like to think I would pick the movie that I thought was the best. But I also would factor in, I wouldn't want to have picked the movie that, like, 10 years from now, we would go, oh, why'd that win? Like, like for instance, like, The Social Network should have clearly beat The King's Speech, like, in hindsight, right? Or, like, Crash should have lost to Brokeback Mountain. Like, those are movies where it's like,
I mean, Shakespeare in Love, go fuck yourself.
I mean, even like a Green Book, right? So, like, I would always be like, man, what is history going to remember? Like, I would want to align with history. This year's crop, that's tough. I really don't know which one of these is like going to be remembered as an all-timer.
To that point, I mean, that's the world we live in now, right? I mean, with social media, I mean, hell, even with the internet as an extension. Because, you know, when the Academy started, I mean, this is the 93rd Academy Awards. So, you know, there was nothing like that. There was no, you know, kind of political influence or media influence. It was just like you voted for what you thought the best project was as a whole, when we're talking about Best Picture, at least. Mm-hmm. So that, in my opinion, that really should still be what happens, right? Because we're honoring the movies. We're not honoring necessarily their like relevance to society. You know, we're honoring them as a work of art, as a film. So it is, but I also see the importance in that because, you know, I mean, like the Asian representation, for example, the only place that shows up is in Minari. So it's like, that's obviously going to be super important to anyone that's Asian or that's connected to that. I get that, you know what I'm saying? But if you rewind 50 years ago, that wasn't in the equation. It was just like, what's the best movie? What did I enjoy the most? What was crafted the best? Which is really what they should be awarding. But I wanted to kind of illustrate that to see if you guys see what I'm saying, where it's like, it's got to be a tough thing in today's age because you do have so many different factors kind of coming into your mind, I feel like.
I think that those things are sometimes obvious. Like, we're all like sitting there talking about it as we're selecting things, when we're talking about the optics. And we're including the context, and so you're taking this holistic approach to giving something a critique or a value, and that's what we're doing. We're not looking at the actual piece of art. Right. We're looking at all of this other stuff, and then kind of building this holistic picture of what that is. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but I mean, in this age that we live in, where people are, you know, there's people like, looking for representation, people looking to be acknowledged, people feeling that they've been, you know, overlooked. And so we're doing this holistic approach. I don't know if I would want to win an award like that. I don't know if I'm like, the puppet made a movie, so we haven't given a puppet an award. Let's give the puppets an award. Like, I wouldn't want that award. I would want my fucking movie just to be the best movie. But people want this. More people seem to want it to be done that way than it to be done the other way. Because let's say, for example, there's people who just kill it every time, right? Anthony Hopkins is going to fucking destroy everyone in his path. Every year that he fucking makes a great movie, he's going to get nominated and possibly win. So, you know, I guess this is kind of like spreads it out a little bit. I don't know. I think it's clear, like, people where, you know, there is declining audience for the Oscars, but it's clear that there's still a lot of people that value not only like the Oscars, but what it means to culture. So they think if, let's say like last year, I think there were a lot of people that were like, they thought Parasite was the best, but there also was this group that was like, no, Parasite needs to win because
it's important that it wins. Like, what does it mean for culture if this movie wins? I think a lot of people still look at like movies and look at the Oscars as like that relevant thing to like, if they put their stamp on this can change the world type thing, right? And like we even talk about it like with actors and actresses. Like we were talking about like Frances McDormand, like, oh, she's already won twice.
Yeah.
Like, why would she win a third time? Like, you got to honor different people. So I think they're like, it's not executed in a bubble, unfortunately. I think that a lot of those factors come in for voters. I don't know how I would factor that in. I would like to think, again, that I'd pick whatever was best, but the Oscar, I mean, people think, I think there's voters that go, I'm not trying to honor the best. I'm trying to give it to like the most important person or movie.
I'm trying to like quote unquote do the right thing.
I'm trying to do it right. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm trying to elevate this person.
The Academy is also trying to fight like, hashtag Oscars too white. That's fucking probably haunting them.
Yeah.
So that's in your mind. Another thing about Sound of Metal you could reward that I love is Riz Ahmed, Pakistani person of color dude, as the lead, but it's just a matter of fact. Like, it could have been
the first Muslim too.
He's up against Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect example, and I'm guilty of what we're talking about here because I got to be honest with you. Riz Ahmed's my favorite, and if I was just voting purely on that, no question, I check his name, I'm going to the next category. But because of Chadwick Boseman, not only necessarily being a black man, but just that he passed away
so suddenly,
and that his legacy, should be honored. What name am I checking there? He wasn't my favorite performance, but
right. That we
you know
just
what
had
I'm
this
saying?
discussion.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's almost like this is our only chance to like validate his career.
Yes.
It's like
yes.
And it's like we shouldn't think like that. Like, just honor who was best, but it's like, but he's never going to be here. Like, this is our only chance.
And you can't help to think like what amazing things he would have done. Like, he was on his way to be fucking huge future, and it just got cut short.
Yeah, so that is an interesting discussion.
I mean, look, things aren't always perfect, and and that's fine. I think that's good. I think that sometimes you do have to do something to honor a person, for doing good work and being an important person. I think it's okay, and I think it should happen. So
I mean, and now, you kind of see it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it just sucks if you're in the same category and you're losing. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's
you're in the
only
puppet category and you lose to another puppet. It's not good.
I think you see this pervade though throughout Hollywood. Like, we've seen it for the past 5-10 years, maybe more, where it's like, like actor, like there's a push for like an Asian or like a black Superman or like an Asian version of this character.
Yeah.
Like, there's like this. Well, does it go to the best person, or does it go to the person that we think would have the most cultural relevance to like change things? So like, I think it's just a thing in Hollywood where it's like, is it the best, or is it like, can we get, ideally you get the best person and someone that would change things.
Right, that's what it should be.
Can't you? That's impossible.
Those two things to find in one person sometimes very hard.
Very hard. So
as long as we all know what we're looking at here, it's okay.
Yeah, if everyone's on the same page.
As long as like, I mean, look, it's one of these things. It's like as long as we all see for what it is, then it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think some people are under this thing that it's all rigged and it's all fixed, or it's all this thing. It's they're obviously trying to play to optics and stuff like that. Some people have that opinion. Some people think that it's like an actual. People are voting on this and they're thinking about
some
this.
Some of them are,
really,
and some aren't.
Choosing who they love. So, I mean, are they either of them right? No. So we see it for what it is, and we know what it is, and that's fine.
Let me ask Gerald one quick question. Why do you think Nomadland has been the runaway winner for so long? Like, why was that kind of preordained as the one? Well, I mean, I know we're talking about the Oscars right now, but I mean, it's an Oscar-y movie, man. It's like literally the title could have been Oscar bait. I mean, it's just shot so beautifully, and it's got these really subdued kind of beautiful performances. It has a Oscar darling in Frances McDormand on the marquee. Chloe Zhao. I mean, the Asian stuff is part of it, but I mean, just generally speaking, she's such a hot name in the last year or so. And she's sweeping. So it's her movie and she's sweeping. So
I don't know. I feel like it's a 1-2 punch. I think it's a pretty easy layup, but that's why I asked about some of this other stuff might bleed in, and then you might get an upset like Minari.
I think another reason why this thing is catching on is because she's choosing to look at something that we don't always look at that exists, like this world of people that we haven't really tapped into. And, we've seen stories of Black Panthers. We've seen, not in this way, but we've seen historical stuff. We've seen all that stuff. But then this is like something that she's kind of like revealing to us.
I agree with that. I didn't know anything at all really about the nomad life before this. Yeah.
So it's kind of like this thing that we just discovered. It reminds me of when I saw that, the City of God. It's like, fuck, I didn't know that the Brazil kids were running around with guns and fucking all this shit was happening.
Shoot each other in the foot.
Yeah. So,
I also think in pandemic era, just this idea of hitting the road, people are buying RVs, they're living and working remotely, living on the road. It's something people were into. And I like how they don't glamorize it and they show you kind of the real side of that.
Yeah, that's actually, I was going to say, I've been kind of like saying Nomadland is not my favorite. I'll give it credit not only for how beautiful it's shot, but it doesn't really take a stand in terms of like, this is the way it should be, or like capitalism is really bad. It kind of like just lets you decide. It just kind of like, you're just floating with the entire movie. And you're just like, all right.
Then you slowly realize like, this is what's happening in the country when these factories shut down. And you think how many more people out there are affected. So good stuff.
It's very restrained.
It is. But the lines, dude, the lines in this movie, like even from the landscape to inside the warehouse, where the lines of the warehouse on the roof are all coming down in perspective and pointing, and every shot's composition is like fucking perfect.
Yeah, she definitely thought about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, good stuff. We got everyone's picks. We will see April 25th what Steven Soderbergh has in store for us. I'm super curious to see how he's going to change the Oscars, and we'll see who gets the most points at the end for no reason. For no reason.
For no reason. No prize.
No prize. Let's wrap up real quick with some What Are We Watching? Ruggs, I'll let you talk since you haven't talked much because you don't know, because you haven't been Oscars.
Well, okay, what I've been watching, obviously, I'm continuing my Frank Grillo watching.
Oh, you found another Frank Grillo movie, did you?
Yes, I did. I found a movie called, damn it, what's the name of the movie?
One with Mackie?
Yeah, with Anthony Mackie.
Really?
It was called Point Blank.
Point Blank, not Break.
It was not a good movie, don't watch it.
Ew, it's so...
No, it's like it's funny because it's like a buddy movie. It's like, so the plot is that Frank Grillo is a guy that's supposed to do this job and kill this, higher up person. And, he ends up in the hospital, and then somebody needs Anthony Mackie, who is the nurse, to bust him out and sneak him out of the hospital. And then they become like attached to each other, and they have to not die, basically.
So it's Crossbones and Falcon team up movie.
Yeah. and what's her name from
Fiona Paris. From
WandaVision.
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau is in. So it's Monica Rambeau, Falcon, and Crossbones doing shit.
It's like a little Marvel reunion there.
Gerald, Rugboy's been watching every Frank Grillo movie for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why. Just
that's cool.
Sure. Thing.
I mean, look, he's got some great lines in it. There's this one line where he pulls up he's at a car wash and he needs a car, and the old woman in the car is like, I got pepper spray. And he's like, I got a gun in my pants. And he's just looking at her like, get the fuck out of the car.
I got a gun in my pants.
And I just love that. But okay, so is it good? No. It does. Like, it's one of those movies that like has no end. Like the ending is just so like it doesn't do anything.
Falls apart.
It just falls apart, and there's not even a cool action scene or anything. It just kind of like sucks at the end.
That's the next movie he did after Endgame. Frank Grillo.
But he was good in it. He was fine. It's just the movie just didn't go anywhere. But then I watched Made for Love.
I also watched this. Gerald, have you seen this?
Here.
You watched it too?
I binged Falcon Winter Soldier on Friday. I binged Made for Love on Saturday.
It's got your girl Christina Milioti in it.
Fuck yeah, it
from
does.
Palm Springs. What did you think? I also watched the whole series as it was coming out. What'd you think?
I love it, man. I've got one episode that I haven't seen. I haven't seen the most recent one.
Yeah,
but
the last one.
I love it. I think it's like, I was a big Black Mirror fan.
Yes,
Or I am a big Black Mirror fan. I feel like this is like if Black Mirror was like a rom-com.
Absolutely.
Is it over, or is there still more coming out?
It's over. It's 8 half
I haven't seen the last one.
half-hour episodes. And basically the setup is this girl has a chip in her head put in by her fiance, who's like this tech giant. His name is Gogol, and he has Gogol phones and Gogol internet.
Gogol.
It's so dumb. Byron Gogol. So turns out he put a chip in her head where you could see and hear everything, and she's trying to get the fuck out of the relationship, and it explores that. Ray Romano is fucking fantastic.
Oh, he's so good, man.
He's so real and so sympathetic, and it's an amazing role. So it's like a science fiction bend, but it's mostly like a relationship show.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's funny.
And it's a nice half-hour
I just
episodes.
like that she fucking gets that axe in that episode and just fucking does some shit with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's twisty and it's turny and like it moves fast. So that was a good show.
Christina Milioti was also in Palm Springs, which was one of my favorite movies.
The Palm Springs girl.
Right. Yeah, she's great.
She's good in everything.
The show is this kind of thing is like one of these things that I don't like to admit is up my alley sometimes. It's like when it's like kind of a show about relationships and all that stuff. So I did like it for that reason, but I'm not 100% on board with it, to be honest with you. I think it's like I enjoyed it because it was fun.
Yeah.
But like I'm like, how's this going to end here? I'm like,
the ending, Gerald, I think you'll find interesting. I don't know if they set it up for a second season, but I will agree with Ruggs. I wasn't so hot on the ending.
Like I would have gotten that chip out. I would have gotten that chip out immediately.
Right. Yeah.
I would have gotten it out immediately if I could. So I was like, I scratched my head about that.
Yeah, no, it's good. Made for Love, HBO Max. All 8 episodes are up. Anthony, you watched anything?
Actually, so we talked last week about Curb, and then I watched like the first episode of this past season.
Nice.
Curb,
Yeah, season 10, I think.
Yeah, where he's wearing the MAGA hat and all that shit.
Isn't that hilarious? He wears it so people won't sit next to him at the sushi place. It's brilliant.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it and I was like, yep, this is still Curb.
Oh, it's still fucking
I
good.
still fucking enjoy the interweaving of all these like stupid ass storylines that end up like biting him in the ass again.
That's the season where he opens the Spite coffee shop next to the other coffee
Spite
shop.
store.
The Spite store. It's so fucking good. It's Ted Danson.
And then I like that episode. He like is eyeing like hors d'oeuvres, and the girl thinks he's like ogling her.
Oh, that's right.
And then he goes in to like grab some hors d'oeuvres, and she's like thinks he's harassing her. And as she walks by, he like tries to grab the hors d'oeuvres, but grabs her tit. It's like,
dude,
this is straight.
It gets
this is
so
it. This
funny.
is the same stuff. I love it.
Plus, his buddy Jeff looks like Harvey Weinstein, and the girl calls him
God.
Harvey Weinstein. It's so fucking funny. I can't wait. There's gonna be 11th season coming out soon. Hopefully, it is the cringe-worthiest show. It's so good.
You ever see the episode of Curb where he's in a movie in New York? He's shooting a movie in New York. He's on a roof and he's doing a scene.
Yeah.
And he's slapping everybody in the face.
No.
It's so bad. It's funny.
I saw this other great short. It's actually an Oscar-nominated live-action short. It's on Netflix. It's called Two Distant Strangers. This fucking thing is great. This is the setup. Imagine a Groundhog Day situation meets a fucking George Floyd situation.
Oh, shit.
That's what this half hour, he's in a time loop. And he's trying to get home to his dog. And this fucking cop shoots him every time. And he's got to figure out how to get home. It's quite good. It is nominated for a live action short. And it's half an hour. I highly recommend everyone watch this. Like, it's pretty good. It's good. Good ending, too. Not what you expect.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
It's pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah, I was
Gerald,
like, holy
did you
shit.
watch 25 movies this week?
I was pretty light this week. I was looking through my letterbox. I've been like watching Shudder, which is like the horror premium channel or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just I've seen a few things, but one I wanted to point out to you guys. Have you guys ever heard of a movie from the 90s called Tammy and the T-Rex?
No. Sounds amazing.
All right. So the schlockiest B-movie shit you've ever heard of, okay? So it stars a young Paul Walker.
Oh, no way.
And Denise Richards.
Oh, no way. I bet she's hot in this.
She's hot as she's very hot in it. So you know who Terry Kaiser is? He was Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, okay, yeah, the mustache, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, the dead guy.
Yeah.
So he plays like this mad scientist, right? So to make a long story short, what ends up happening is Paul Walker ends up getting killed by this like gang of bullies because they're in high school, and he takes Paul Walker's brain and puts it into this mechanical T-Rex.
Okay.
And so Paul
Sure.
Walker kind of like, controls the T-Rex and decides to go on a rampage and like get revenge for all the people that killed him and
Oh my
stuff.
God.
And Denise Richards is Tammy, and she's his girlfriend. So she's like really like sensual with the dinosaur.
With the dinosaur.
And they're like a couple basically because she knows it's her boyfriend's brain in there.
Oh my God.
That's Tammy and the T-Rex. So there you go, guys.
That's
This
amazing.
sounds like up Rug's alley.
Yeah, this sounds great. 1994.
And Steve Morrison.
Yeah.
And it ends with Denise Richards doing a really, really nice striptease, guys.
Oh,
at the
I'm
end.
all in for that.
So,
Better or
there you
worse
go.
than Wolf Cop? That's what we have to figure out.
Is it? As any movie with bestiality seems like.
Does she fuck
it was
the
prehistoric
dinosaur?
bestiality.
Yeah,
I mean,
prehistoric. I see her like caressing this dinosaur.
Yeah, I'm googling through pictures of her and a dinosaur.
Yeah,
right
that's,
now.
There you
that's
go,
pretty
Tammy
much.
and the T-Rex.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Very touching story.
That's
yeah.
like, I know there's a lot. We have listeners who will enjoy that pick.
So it's a robot T-Rex?
Yes, it's a mechanical T-Rex that
Animatronic.
this guy had built for the purposes of putting a human
Oh,
brain
it's like
into it.
it's like Pacific Rim and shit. He's putting his hand brain in there.
Is he drifting with it?
Is he drifting? And Paul Walker gets into a car as a dinosaur and flies into space. What the fuck is
Denise
going
Richards
on?
is a fox.
Dude, yeah, 1994 Denise Richards. Get the fuck
Oh, yeah.
out of here.
That's prime.
What's that
kidding
movie
me?
that she's in with Nev Campbell?
Oh,
Wild
Wild
Things.
Things.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
God, that's the one.
You bet your ass. I saw that
You
as
fuck
like a
it. I
12-year-old.
wore that that part of the tape was worn out on my VHS copy. Jesus
Oh
fuck.
Can't
man,
rewind anymore.
It just broke. Played it back so much. All right, anything else? Anybody want to shout out? Good stuff. I said we already talked about Promising Young Woman, Minari. Loved both of those movies.
yeah. I mean, I binged Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
partly for this,
Right on.
and then watched a bunch of weird horror movies. But other than that,
That's how you recover from a surgery, my friend.
yeah.
All right, well then next week, listener, get ready. Everybody can watch Mortal Kombat. Oh shit! April 23rd, HBO Max and in theaters. Yeah, get the fucking rave juice. Get your light sticks ready.
Well, I'm ready.
We will be.
I will say
Yeah.
real quick about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Me and my 7-year-old son, we were in downtown Durham yesterday, and the Boxcar is like a local arcade, just reopened. So he played Mortal Kombat with me on the arcade box
For the first
yesterday.
time?
Yeah, for the first time he played as
shit.
Sub-Zero, and he beat me.
He did.
Yeah, I'm like, you little shit.
Son
You've
of a
never played
bitch.
before in your life.
He's like, oh, this is easy. We can do this with my eyes closed. Wow, nice.
So there you go. Yeah.
Killing is easy, Dad.
This is an R-rated Mortal Kombat, though. I don't know if it's going to be appropriate for your little kid.
Yeah, no, he's not going to watch it. I've seen the trailers.
Yes.
I told him he's got a few years before he can
We
watch
will be reviewing it next week with a guest, hopefully, I think. Other than that, Gerald, thank you so much for hanging out. Tell the people
Yeah, Gerald.
where they can find all your awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for inviting me back. It was a blast. As always, just go to 2psonapod.com. It's TWO spelled out, and you'll see links to all of the different podcasters that we're available on. You can, scroll through our back catalog. Imran and Anthony have both been on, and guess who's coming on soon?
Who's that?
Rug Boy will be on the show.
It's going to be my first guest spot without Imran.
This
around.
is huge,
Unreal.
people. No,
That
you
is
don't
huge.
understand. You definitely subscribe to 2Ps on the pod. This is the first time Rug Boy on his own on another show. I'm not holding his hand. I don't have my hand in his slack hole. This is all him.
Yeah, I don't have.
Are you guys going to do that thing where there's like one earbud in one ear and Imran's just feeding
I'm
information
feeding
to
you
him?
the lie. I'm there for comfort. No, you can do this, Rugs. I believe in you.
Imran, will you be on the phone?
I will be in the Facebook Messenger.
You just hear Rug Boys like start mentioning Kumail Nanjiani movies and stuff. It's like, what are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Just
here?
say Kumail
Do you see how
Nanjiani.
jacked Camille is? by the
Just
way?
mention Riz Ahmed 4 times. You'll be fine.
Oh,
Jesus.
man.
No,
But yeah,
it's good. This is
that's
it's gonna be huge.
That's it. Just go to the website and you'll see all these dudes on pop up on episodes. But I have a different guest host every week usually from the world of podcasting, and we just do a fun top 5 show. We count down our favorites in a category for movies, music, or TV, and we have a good time. We've been going nearly on 5 years now
Nice.
doing 2Ps.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's a blast. So,
Great show.
Yeah, look us up.
I highly recommend
Awesome.
it. I listened to your top 5 Nirvana songs. Great show, fun.
Yeah, it's my favorite band of all time, man. I had to do it.
Yeah, no, and those are all great songs. Rugs, where can the listener find you online?
Oh, you can find me online on Twitter
On?
at Really Rugboy.
In Twitter? Wait, say that.
At Really Rugboy on Twitter.
Okay.
That's the best way to say it.
Listener, check out the show notes for links to everything. I'll have all of Gerald's links right in the show description so you can subscribe right now. Thanks for listening. Share the show. Get it out there to all your friends. Spread the geekery. This has been the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the Nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Yes. I see that you know your judo well.
Yes. I replaced the wrestling star.
That's timeless.
Be more funny.